Hey guys, welcome into the show. Sorry we're starting late today. Got to get our marketing guy. Got to get him on track. Got to take care of that weakest link. We'll get him going. We all have our days, some more than others, but we're glad to be joining you this morning. 7:14, starting late, but that's all right. We're going to get rocking and rolling right now. It is Cancel This. Welcome in to Cancel This, everybody. I'm Vic Faust with Tabitha Hassel and Eric Johnson, Scotty Gherkin on the boards. Eric will be here in just a moment. Happy Hump Day, January 4th. I love this show because we have so many great guests. We do what we do on a daily basis. Coming up a little bit later, Max Kostelac, 21-year-old podcaster, conservative podcaster from Ole Miss. Home on vacation. He's going to join us in studio live. We're going to talk to him about the political status of kids his age.
I cannot wait. I cannot wait.
He got ripped for doing a political podcast by fellow students because it was conservative at Ole Miss, of all places. Can't wait to talk with Max about that. That's for sure. Also, we're going to talk about Tabitha's hero, Kevin McCarthy. I know you feel bad for Kevin. Did you guys text last night back and forth about what he's dealing with in D.C. these days?
I would say negative.
Scott, how you doing this morning? Everything rocking and rolling over in your corner of the woods?
Fabulous over here. I'm tuned in.
We do have some good news, or at least it appears to be good news. Damar Hamlin's family says that he's getting better.
I
don't know what that means. I don't know.
I know what it means.
He's starting to breathe better on his own.
Yeah, instead of being at 100% oxygen yesterday, he was lowered to 50% oxygen. And
that's a massive.
It's huge. Yes. That means he'll be coming off the ventilator and things will be good.
So it certainly looks like he's gonna make it.
Yes.
Gosh, it gives me chills thinking about that. When I read the story, I was like, oh, this is good news. Absolutely good news, especially after one of the scariest things I'd seen in the NFL. That's for sure. That's good news there. Also, coming up on the show today, the biggest Twitter drop yet, maybe. Once again, when you want so bad all the information to come true, you want your ideas, your thoughts, your intuition to be validated. And then when it is, day after day after day after day after day, does it become old news? Twitter now again showing us everything we thought was right when it came to you're not a conspiracy theorist. You're just not. Or if you are, guess what? It's a good thing.
And enjoy it while you can, because Twitter is on a quick downfall. And that's what when you speak the truth, that's what happens.
What do you mean? Still?
I don't know that Twitter is going to be around much longer. I really don't. I expect something to happen. I think that Musk is going to end up selling out. He has an offer to sell for much less, for $14 billion. He paid $44 billion. But one of his investors has stated, if you don't sell it to me, I'm withdrawing my funds. And we just heard this morning, Twitter not paying rent on their San Francisco location. Things are not looking good for Twitter.
Well, Elon's the first guy to lose 200 billion.
Crazy.
$200 billion. That's a claim to fame. It's cool when you lose 200 billion and you're still the second richest person in the world.
I know. He should give us a couple million. I mean, what difference does it make?
I've been begging Elon, come on, cancel this, please. Come on our show. We appreciate it. It is a Wednesday. We're on till 10 o'clock Central with our live show. We also have our original content, as always, on our website, canceltheshow.com. As always, share the show, jump in there. We do appreciate it. If you know anybody that wants to get involved in the show, from an advertising standpoint, you can connect there. Also, jumping in with the donate button, whatever you can. We appreciate to help keep this operation going, what we do. cancelthisshow.com/donate. cancelthisshow.com/donate. We continue to bring the stories that we can. Thank you for all of the interaction. By the way, what are we averaging? About 800 to 1,000 comments a day.
Or yeah, usually
thousands and
usually
thousands
so.
of views every day now.
Yesterday we had almost 6,000 views.
Wow, that was fantastic.
I was watching the numbers go up by the minute. It's like every time I looked at it, it was going up by another 1,000. It was crazy.
And it's because of you guys. So we appreciate you guys jumping in and doing that for us. We've the big stories that we have. We were talking about Damar Hamlin, the biggest Twitter drop yet. We have the massive story that's going on right now in DC, and I think that's where we should start with what's happening. Okay, a lot to break down here. Unpackage, unwrap, whatever you want to say. The Republicans are taking control of the House, but they can't decide on who their speaker is going to be. Why is that such an important role? Because the speaker is in charge of what actually goes through, what gets passed, what gets talked about. And Kevin McCarthy, I remember at one point in time, Tabitha, didn't you think that he would be a good House Speaker?
No, that wasn't ever
over
me.
a year ago. You didn't.
No, no.
But you didn't. You didn't have.
He's not. I don't think
you
he's
didn't
the worst
have an issue
of the
with
worst.
him in the past.
I think he's
I
always
first heard his name from you.
I think he's always kind of been on the border, kind of the borderline. He's certainly not the worst one out there, but there are some very important issues at stake right now.
Do you feel as if the Republicans look incompetent?
No.
Or not? Because I'm telling you right now, whether you like it or not,
what's gaslighting.
You like what's going on, but I'm telling
it.
you right now, the Republicans look like a bunch of fools.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
No, they don't.
They look like fools because they can't get along and they're being portrayed as fools.
No, I disagree completely.
Because we can't get along. We can't do this. We can't do that.
I understand where you're coming from. And I know Eric would agree with you if he were here. I understand it. I know Eric talks a lot about Democrats and how they have their act together. And I get it. But here's the thing.
Publicly.
Those folks fighting us. Yesterday, there were 20 Republicans.
Time out. What do you mean fighting us?
Fighting for us.
Oh, okay.
Fighting for us. Yesterday, there were 20 Republicans who refused to vote for Kevin McCarthy. Originally, it was 19. And then I think it was on the third or fourth vote.
Gaining.
One more Republican joined them. And I didn't see the very last vote before they closed it off for the night and how many were still holding strong. A lot of these Republicans are members of the Freedom Caucus. And these people are fighting for you and I.
Mm-hmm.
They are fighting for us. They are the true conservatives standing up for us. And they're fighting against McCarthy because he is never going to go against Mitch McConnell, because he is against term limits. The House wants to introduce term limits this year on Congress. McCarthy said he will not support it.
Correct.
He has a political team that surrounds him.
Correct.
And he has not made any direct statements, but his team has spoken for him. And he will not go against McConnell. He will not support term limits. And these folks from the Freedom Caucus are saying, hey, we are standing up for Americans. And, the Republicans who speak out against them, they're the ones who are wrong. They're the ones dividing the party.
Not necessarily.
Yeah, because they don't speak for the majority of Americans.
Hey, I'm not some massive fan of McCarthy, and I have no problem with debating and doing things. But now everything has come full circle. You've got Gaetz out talking to the media. I'm sorry, Tabitha. The Republicans look like they're in disarray.
I don't agree.
That's fine. But I'm telling you, they look like they're in disarray. And then all they need, there's a different standard for conservatives over the grand scheme of media as there is with liberals. There's a different standard. You give the media one little ounce of anything that may seem unpositive, and boom, it blows up. Now you have the Republicans fighting, and that's fine. But here's the problem, Tabitha. This has been going on for quite some time. We knew what was going to happen. At the end of the day, we know McCarthy's going to be elected.
Not necessarily.
So you said that yesterday. I was just getting ready to say. Somehow, according to what you said yesterday.
I think it will. I think yes. I'm going to say
Tabitha,
90%
you spent most
yes.
of the show yesterday saying that.
I'm going to say 90% yes, because he claims he's not going to step away. Now, he has an option. He could say, okay, this is too much for me. They don't want me. The majority doesn't want me.
212
I'm going to
people
step
don't
away.
want him.
Democrats were laughing their ass off at Republicans all day yesterday because of this. And it's just not a good look. And if there is a way that something is going to change and it's going to be better for the Republican Party, great. Then you go through the hell that you have to go through. But if McCarthy is still elected after all of this, it was for naught.
I don't agree at all.
I know.
I don't
And
agree
Tabitha,
at all.
I'm gonna blow up your entire thesis so far with this statement. And don't be ornery just to be ornery. Be honest.
Don't be ornery.
Good morning, Eric. How you doing, buddy?
I'm loving this.
Okay, here we go.
Get some.
You, for a fact, Tabitha Hassel, like and respect Jim Jordan. Tell me I'm wrong.
Of course I do.
Thank you. Who the hell is promoting and on the bandwagon for Kevin McCarthy? Who introduced him? Jim Jordan.
I agree.
Hello.
I watched it with my own eyes.
That means to me, then it's a circus because
Jim Jordan
you've got Jim Jordan,
yes.
who almost all Republicans love and respect. And here's where I am on this, because you got to take stances. I don't sit on the fence anymore, right, Eric?
No, you're on the
BS.
field.
If Jim Jordan is stumping publicly for Kevin McCarthy, then I back him.
Only after the first vote. Only after the
stop
first
putting
vote.
Stipulations on it. Jim Jordan
Because there is a stipulation.
Jim Jordan is in his corner. So if you respect Jim Jordan and you think Jim Jordan, you would take Jim Jordan as your speaker in a second. Jim Jordan is one of the most outward supporting Republicans for McCarthy right now. So you can't tell me.
I can tell you, and I'm going to tell you.
No,
Jim
you're talking
Jordan,
on both sides of your mouth
no,
again.
No, I'm not. No, I'm
Jim
not.
Jordan is supporting McCarthy.
That was after the first vote. After the first vote.
It doesn't matter.
No, it wasn't in the beginning. It was after. I watched the entire process. After they took the first votes, McCarthy got 212 votes. And Jim Jordan, I think, got 10. I think Andy Biggs got 12, something along those lines. There were 19 folks at that point against McCarthy. And after that first vote, Jim Jordan stood up, he made a speech, and he did what I think a lot of people might do in his position. He didn't want to hold up the voting. There's a lot of folks out there who think, well, the majority of the House wants McCarthy, so we should all vote with the majority. But let's go back to how this all started. Let's go. And we talked about this yesterday. And this is what makes me angry.
Jim Jordan is a supporter
Are
of
you
Kevin
going to let
McCarthy.
me explain, please?
Go ahead. I haven't even
As long as you get back to the point, because you're talking around it.
No, yeah. And what I'm going to tell you explains why I feel the way that I do.
Here we go.
And that is because what we said yesterday, everything that happened yesterday is exactly what I said was going to happen.
Yep.
We knew this was going to happen yesterday.
You didn't think there would be 3 votes, though.
Oh, I thought they'd vote for the next several days.
Oh.
And they probably will vote for the next several days. So yesterday,
Right.
as we stated here on this show,
Right.
establishment Republicans came out and they told the Freedom Caucus and other anti-establishment Republicans, you will vote for Kevin McCarthy for speaker.
Okay.
You will vote for him.
Okay.
And we will vote and vote and vote until he wins.
Right.
And that, to me, was a challenge. That is the establishment Republicans taking charge and saying, we don't care about the people. We don't care what the people want. We don't care what you, the Freedom Caucus, or anti-establishment folks want.
Right.
We are going to tell you, you are going to vote for Kevin McCarthy. And that's why these 19 and 20 people stood up for themselves, as they should have. You don't tell them who to vote for. They vote for whoever they want to vote for. And they nominated Jim Jordan.
Did you ever see Star Trek? The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. Do you remember that little saying?
No.
Well, then you need to go watch some Star Trek, and some Spock would be good for you.
Watch 2000 Years first before you go.
Yeah, no kidding. Eric, you got a whole list of things to watch.
Let's get off the Star Trek.
The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the one. So there's 200 some odd Republicans. I'm getting a little sick of this establishment Republican. It's like the seniors in high school being voted against by the freshmen of high school. These guys have done their dues. I'm telling you what, I don't know anything about McCarthy as far as the behind the scenes. He has done his dues. He has been the majority mouth of this thing since what's his name? Paul Ryan left. Okay.
Thank you for making my point for me.
Jeffrey on the comment line says, enter sports analogy now.
Yeah. So they look dumb. You know what?
No, they don't.
They look smart.
These guys look
if
like
I were a member of the House, I'd be right there with them.
I would say this. Maybe they're okay if they had 50 seats available to them and then they could have this vote of, this is my protest vote. I don't want McCarthy, but he'll still be the speaker, whatever. This is not that. You did not have a red wave. You better come in as army ants like we talked about yesterday, as murder hornets. You guys better get your crap together. It doesn't matter.
So you want them to come together as an army against what we all want.
I want them to come out.
For?
I want them to come in as an army against AOC, against Jeffries.
But they're not.
It's so embarrassing. The damn Democrat had more votes yesterday than the current.
No, he didn't.
Jeffries consistently had more votes.
No, he didn't.
Than McCarthy
he had
yesterday.
203.
Jeffries
McCarthy had 212.
Look that up. Look that up.
Yeah, because if he had more, he would have won.
Look that up.
No.
So the point is this. The point is this.
By the way, if a Republican can't be elected, then
here's
a Democrat gets elected.
Here's the deal. They talk about
not gonna
only
happen,
if a Republican voted for Jeffries, which is never going to happen.
Here's the deal. They have a lot of work to get to. McCarthy is ideologically right down the line with these guys.
No, he's what? Eric, I have some questions to ask you when you're done.
I think
we'll solve this right now.
He's more there than not.
We'll solve this right now.
What do you think?
Are you for or against term limits?
Hold on. What? Tell me what policies.
Answer the question.
Tell me what policies. Tell me what policies McCarthy is completely off the reservation with.
Term limits.
Are
you for or against term limits?
But is that
do you want term limits in Congress?
Do I want term limits in Congress? I do very much want term limits. I do.
Okay, so then you're on my side.
Politics is a give and take thing. You never get everything you want, Tabitha.
Are you for, Eric? Are you for or against Mitch McConnell?
I don't know. What the hell does Mitch McConnell have to do with the House of Representatives?
Choose a side.
She's trying to connect A to B and B to C, even though.
Choose a side. It's a simple equation. Choose a side. Are you for or against Mitch McConnell?
Who would I rather have in the Senate as the Speaker of the Senate or the majority voice of the Senate? Let me think about that for a second. Josh Hawley would be nice, but it's not up to me. It's up to people.
Answer the question.
You're
under oath right now.
Mitch McConnell. I'm not going to bring up Mitch McConnell because it'll just sidetrack. It will just sidetrack the discussion.
Are you scared to say that you're for or against Mitch McConnell?
I don't know. I'm not in Mitch McConnell mode right now. We're talking about the House of Representatives.
Eric and I have both said Mitch McConnell doesn't appear to be a great leader where he is.
Eric he won't choose.
Yeah, he has. He said it with me before.
I'm asking him right now. And
what does Mitch McConnell have to do with McCarthy?
She's trying to connect him.
Because McCarthy will not stand up to McConnell. And the reason why these 19 and 20 Republicans are holding out is because look at when Nancy Pelosi was Speaker of the House. Look how important that role was. She had so much control over everything that happened. And McCarthy will be the same. McCarthy is not one of us. He's not one of me. He is not on my side. He's not on my side. He's an establishment guy. He is going to be right up the aisle with McConnell. He is going to go against term limits. He's going to go against America First policies. We don't want him in the speaker role. Because once he's there, there's nothing we can do about it.
By the way, share the show. We appreciate it. CancelTheShow.com. Go ahead, click on your streaming service, share the show, go to YouTube, go to Rumble, go to the Facebook page where we are, subscribe, share. And I think a lot of us are on the same page, but the problem is this, Tabitha. I started this conversation off by saying Republicans don't look good. It's not a good look when the Democrats do, by the way, according to Carlene, says that the Democrats did have 212 Democrat votes. He was one Democratic vote. McCarthy had 203, then 20 voted for others. It's not a great look. You have to admit that. You think it's a great look. I think you're off your rockers. It's not a good look. Is the fight worth it? Maybe. You make some good points. But at the same point in time, Republicans do not look good. Democrats are laughing their ass off at Republicans going on and on and on about what's happening. And guess what? At the end of the day, regardless of who is elected, Tabitha, I have to get back to my main point. Everybody loves Jim Jordan. I mean, he seems to be the guy that everybody wants for the position. Yeah. And who, at the end of the day, because you have to pick your battles in politics, Tabitha, at the end of the day, who is Jim Jordan standing up loud and proud for? None other than Kevin McCarthy.
And that's okay. And like Matt Gaetz said when he stood up,
But then
for
if it's
him,
okay, then
we're
let's get this
going
circus
to
over.
fight for the person who doesn't even want the job.
Hold on.
But then
Hold
in
on.
the circus, if you say that's okay,
Hold
It's
on.
not a circus.
Hold
We're,
Hold
it's
on.
a
Hold on.
no, it's
Hold
not.
on.
The Freedom Caucus has every
Hold
right
on.
to
You
stand
just
up
like
for
the name.
themselves
Freedom
and for us.
Caucus.
Yes,
I do love
watch
it.
your mouth. Watch your mouth over there. Here's the deal. Here's the deal.
You can't handle the
Yeah.
truth.
What if Jim Jordan is the representative of the Freedom Caucus?
He is. He started the Freedom Caucus.
Okay. So Jim Jordan would be the one that would go up to McCarthy's office and say, these are on every issue. This is what we want. This is what we want. And they work together as a team. McCarthy, in my estimation, whether you think he's establishment or not, I've never heard him do anything but rail against Nancy Pelosi. I've never heard him do any. You're right. This whole debacle that they voted through, the budget that they put through, was a mess. But again, the Republicans hold no power as far as before this election. They didn't hold the House of Representatives. They didn't hold the Senate. As a matter of fact, they did worse in the Senate now, and they don't hold the presidency. The only thing that the Republicans have is 2 votes in the Supreme Court and less than a half a dozen votes in the House of Representatives. These guys better figure that out. There is no red wave. You guys screwed that up. Period.
Not according to Andy Polachek yesterday.
So your little Freedom Caucus, which I agree with.
Not a little Freedom Caucus.
Which I agree with 99, and I think that McCarthy agrees with them 99% of this.
No. Sorry.
Cackling is an optional thing here on the show. So the thing is, they did it. They had their little primary and they put their caucus together. They all voted together. Out of 200 and some odd votes, McCarthy won hands down a super majority of it, and a certain amount of them said no. So they all voted in a room, and the way that this should happen, in my opinion, and I don't know the ins and outs of Congress by any stretch of the imagination, you go in and you vote for McCarthy. And you say, together, this is our team that we're taking to the field.
I'm glad neither of you are in Congress. That's all I can say.
Truth. You can't handle the truth.
Right there.
Perfect.
Right there.
And by the way, on cue, Scotty, you unsolicited. You already had 2 or 3 compliments this morning on how great you are.
Exactly.
Over there.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm trying.
No, you are.
You are fantastic.
Is it time to hear from Matt Gaetz?
Yes, I think
What do you want to hear about from Matt Gaetz?
Well, Matt Gaetz decided to have.
He's a bomb thrower too.
Yes, he is.
I know what Matt Gaetz isn't doing that, like the 2 of you are doing to the establishment. Bend over. That's what you guys are doing.
I love
Stand up for your country.
I love.
You know what it's like? It's like when I hear the word establishment, I hear the starting quarterback of Parkway Central is a senior. We got to get rid of the establishment and get the freshman in there.
You guys might as well just wear your McConnell flag tomorrow.
I wish I could have a McConnell flag.
I'm going to buy one for you.
AOC wasn't the
where's my
Speaker of the
right?
House when Nancy Pelosi was there. You didn't see AOC taking the gavel. No, you had the establishment chick who was a 90-year-old decrepit lady smashing the gavel all over the
but look
place.
where we are because
Yeah,
of
but
that.
That's right.
But look where
Thank you, Scotty.
I
Thank
mean,
you for that.
but I think
You can
true-
play it on the other side too. It went way
Yeah.
wacko because she was there.
Yeah.
Part of the
No,
establishment.
but Nancy smashed through a lot of square pegs through round holes. She did, and it was because she was still capitulating a little bit, at least, to the far left. I don't think Nancy Pelosi's that left of center, but the AOCs of the world pushed her in that direction,
What?
and boom, they gave it to her.
Oh, my
she's
gosh.
very left of
Oh,
center.
You think so?
Oh, yeah.
You think she's
Yeah.
You think she's a
She's
socialist?
Californian, just like McCarthy.
You think she's a socialist? Maybe, I don't know.
When
you
she
know?
plays left, right, center, the center and the right aren't even in the game.
Yeah, exactly.
I am so glad we don't
If
have
Jim
to count
Jordan-
on you 2
If
establishment
Jim
folks to
Jordan was
stand up for us.
if Jim Jordan was the Speaker of the House, I would be like, I'm in. Let's go. Let's do this.
If there
thing.
was a Jim Jordan-like candidate on the Democratic side, they would push him into the position. Jim Jordan doesn't want the position.
I'm not going to say he doesn't want the
He has
position.
Nope, you're
He's
guessing.
trying to
well, on
unite
camera,
everybody.
he doesn't
I
want
can
it.
only
has
speculate.
publicly-
I don't know.
He has publicly said he does not want the position.
Yeah, on camera, he has said it.
Stand up and fight for
Okay.
your
All right.
country.
That's easy to say that. It is.
all right.
It
I
is
have the
easy to
video
say it.
with
We have
Gaetz up.
20 folks doing it.
Here's Matt Gaetz talking. Yes. Here's Matt Gaetz talking.
Those of us who will not be voting for Kevin McCarthy today take no joy in this discomfort that this moment has brought. But if you want to drain the swamp, you cannot put the biggest alligator in charge of the exercise. I'm a Florida man and I know of what I speak. We offered Kevin McCarthy terms last evening that he rejected. We sought a vote in the first quarter of the 118th Congress on term limits. He refused. We wanted a budget from the Republican Study Committee that balances on the floor in the first quarter. He refused. We wanted the border plan that the Texas delegation put together on the floor. He refused. And it is true that we struggle with trust with Mr. McCarthy because time and again, his viewpoints, his positions, they shift like sands underneath you. Even Kevin McCarthy's own mentor recently said that the lies always change.
All right, that was Matt Gaetz speaking. He is Tabitha's new hero.
Yeah.
Have you always liked Matt Gaetz though? Because
I have.
Okay,
But is he wrong?
He's 100% right.
I can't disagree with anything.
Thank you,
Exactly.
Matt.
That's the point right there. I
Yeah.
think.
We come at this all from great points. My point is, I don't have an issue with what the Freedom Caucus is saying. I'm saying in politics, you're going to get smashed like an ugly bug late at night. You can say, well, we're doing our best. Yes. Okay. That's great to fight. But what is the greater good for the party? Tabitha is all about blowing up the party. So you're fine with this.
I know it's fighting
saying-
for our country. It's not about the
it is.
party.
You're going to
It's
blow
not
up-
about the
you-
party.
Yeah, it is.
Let's blow the party
Well,
up.
is there
then.
any
That's what I'm
member of
saying,
that
and you don't-
20 that could even challenge McCarthy for that spot? There
Yes.
isn't.
Jordan, Biggs,
But
Andy
he
Biggs.
doesn't want it.
And guess who he
It's not
wants
that
for
he
the
doesn't.
and
Want
guess
it.
Tabitha.
He's trying to do
he
the
said
noble thing.
He doesn't want it.
What's the
You're
noble
putting
thing?
words and feelings attaching to him.
Yeah.
He has said publicly he does not want the job. And what has he told us? What has he told all conservatives across the country? I want Kevin McCarthy for the job.
Yeah.
End of story.
The story's gone. There you go.
We may not like Kevin
Yeah.
McCarthy, but there's a game that you have to play.
Yeah.
And Jim Jordan, whether he's playing the game or not, says, I want Kevin McCarthy.
Exactly.
Now you have to go fight the Democrats because they're a much bigger
Yeah.
animal than the own
Yeah.
people in your party.
No. The problem is if we have somebody like McCarthy as the speaker and he can't agree to these terms, he may as well be a Democrat. Because he is
Oh.
going to do exactly what the Democrats do. He's going to agree with all of these big spending bills. He's going to send more money to Ukraine. He's going to send more money out to these border folks
You know,
as they
one
come
thing you're
in.
not realizing though is even if you put these budgets together and these pieces of legislation together, you still have this 19 group of people that can stop legislation. You still need to get a majority of the votes in the House of Representatives to kick some things over the edge.
No, that's a good point.
So I mean, they do have the ability to block things still. They still do have a microphone, but if you can get 80% of the Republican stuff going right now, let's just start here. Investigations into the Biden family. You got to start there.
Do you think Kevin
hold on.
McCarthy's going to do that?
Getting rid of 87,000 IRS agents, getting people down to the border, getting cameras on the border, holding hearings on the border. You have to start getting ready for 2 years now. The election season for the next president will start here in the next 6 months. You need to start thinking about that.
You think
kind of stuff.
McCarthy is going to support Trump? Nope. McCarthy, it might some of these establishment folks who really want McCarthy, and not all of them.
I'm not getting mad at you, but
I
you're
Some of them-
promise you
Some of them
100%.
might
But
as
you
well
sound
be
unreasonable.
I
Democrats.
promise you 100% if Donald Trump is the Republican candidate, Kevin McCarthy will support him 100%.
Yeah,
If he
I
is the
absolutely.
promise
candidate.
you he will support him. So you can't say that he won't support Trump.
He
That's
is
not,
not
true.
a Trump supporter.
No, he may not
in the
love
speaker
Trump.
role, he'll support a Republican over a
Bingo.
Democrat.
And guess what? That's part of the game I speak of. You have to play
But-
the effing game because that's what's there.
We've got to get
And you're not going to blow up the game. You're just not.
this is a starting point. We have to get the establishment out of the Republican Party. We have to. We have no choice because we have to fight for this country, and that's the only way to do it.
I hear you. I hear you. And I think you're preaching over there. And I think you're doing a damn good job.
Yes.
But I do think that Republicans the lesson isn't blowing up the Republicans. The lesson is to get them to work together like the Democrats do. Because if you're going to have, you need army ant on army ant right now. You
but
can't.
that's not the establishment
Now,
Republicans.
the Republicans aren't a bunch of army ants. They're a bunch of honey badgers.
I
They're,
love
they're nuts. They're crazy, and they're trying to eat everything up, but they're not going to beat anything.
We need rhino hats for us, Eric, when we get accused of
It's
being
not even
rhinos.
about being a damn rhino. It's not even about
I'm
being
ordering the big foam rhinos with
Yeah,
the
get
big
us big-
horn
we
on
need
it.
rhinos. I just looked down, Dottie. That's awesome.
Look, let's break this down. This is embarrassing. The Republicans look like a bunch of chumps.
Now
The-
you sound
the,
like a
the
rhino.
Democrats are going to be bringing
Like Dottie said.
popcorn into the House chamber.
They
today.
are yesterday.
I know.
They're like, yeah, this
it's
is
like-
good viewing.
They're laughing their asses off. Nancy Pelosi is literally.
I thought you liked backlash.
He does. That's not the
That's
point.
not
I
the
thought you
point
wanted
here.
backlash. I thought you, when
If
we
you-
sit here and we preach every day about people standing up for this country and doing the right thing and changing things and getting these rhinos out of office. But look at where we are right now, that these people who are standing up against McCarthy, they are proving a point. They say, we are not behind the establishment. We're trying to work with him. We're giving him these options. And he's saying, no, I'm not going to do that. And they're saying, we're fighting for our country. We're going to hold out as long as we can.
We
Good
just
for
looked-
them.
Jeff makes a great point, in my humble opinion. January 6th is the day after tomorrow. Republicans need to get this done.
Yeah.
Embarrassing.
Yeah, it's embarrassing. And you know what? Maybe blowing up the party is
Speaking tab.
maybe blowing up the party is an exercise in embarrassment. Who knew that's what it took?
Yeah.
Being embarrassed, embarrassing the party because
Maybe that is what it takes.
maybe that's what it takes.
But we all know, Tabitha, that's not going to change anything.
we
It's-
sit around and you know what, you guys always ask me, well, who is it that stands up for this country? Who in Congress is standing up for us? It's so few people. You know who's standing up for us right now? It's these 20 Republicans.
You know what? Here's the Sunday shows for
and
the
here
next.
we are.
Here's the Sunday
tearing them
shows.
down.
The Sunday shows for the next 2 months. CBS, NBC, MSNBC.
but
the-
nobody's watching them. So
Well, who knows? Yeah, you're right. He goes, "Hey, Republicans, why can't you get your why can't you get your stuff together?" That's going to be they're going to be doing expose news on Sunday mornings for the next 2 months that the Republicans can't even get their crap together. That's the bottom line. Is going, you have factions in the Republican Party. That's going to be the news story. Not that they're invigorated. They're doing all of these committees. They're going to try to bust up these huge bills that were put through. No, that's not it.
Glenn
It's that-
says you guys sound like the Republicans hashing out your issues.
well, you know what? You Tabitha Hassel said it yesterday. So we're going to believe what she says. She said Kevin McCarthy will be the next speaker of
and
the
he
House.
probably will be.
Okay, then why are we fighting about it?
Yeah, and Tabitha, that's exactly
Because there's only two
Why are we
ways.
fighting about
there are
it?
only two ways he won't be. First of all, these 1920 Republicans, they can continue this on literally for months. They can. There's no time limit. They can.
Oh, that
carry
sounds like
on,
that's going to be really good.
And they claim they're going to. They said they will hold out until the cherry blossoms bloom.
so if we did
is
this
their
as,
exact quote.
so if we did this as a movie, you would be who? Lauren
you better
Boebert?
believe it.
Would you be?
I wouldn't be Marjorie Taylor Greene because she
You are Marjorie Taylor.
she didn't
Greene.
side with us on this
We'll
one.
put a blonde.
Did she vote for McCarthy?
She voted for McCarthy.
And not only did she vote for him, that's who Tabitha. When I asked Tabitha who's doing a good job in
I
Congress,
know.
Tabitha said Marjorie Taylor Greene.
I did.
Who would Eric be? Who would I be on the other side? Because clearly we're on. We have to be.
Well,
we're-
Eric's a Democrat. Which Democrat would you be? I'm just kidding.
Oh my God.
You would be an independent for sure.
I
Oh my
frustrate her. I frustrate her. Yeah. No, I don't mean to
No,
frustrate her.
I tease you. We are definitely on the same side. I know you want the same things for this country
Yes.
that I do. We all want the same things for this country, but we go about it in different ways. I would be with these folks, these 19, and you two Eric would be like, I'll vote with what everybody else does. And Vic, you would be like, oh, we've got to support the Republican Party.
Who is that?
Even if they're established.
So who is that then? Who am I?
Even the rhinos. You're. I'm not gonna say
I
you're.
think he's Paul Ryan.
No,
I think he's
don't
Paul,
do that to
he's
Vic.
Paul Ryan.
Don't do that to Vic.
What are you talking about? Paul wanted just to
Eric-
retire.
Oh my God, Eric could be eye patch McCain Crenshaw.
Okay, yeah, I like that. That's cool.
Who am I? I want somebody to tell me who
Lost
I'd
my
be.
eye
then.
for a cause.
What Republican am I then, Tabitha? If
That's
I'm
a tough one.
if I'm not one of the 20,
That's
or
a
the
tough
19.
One. That's a tough one. That's a real tough one. I don't know. Because some days, like yesterday, you
But
were
you're
a
definitely-
freedom fighter yesterday.
you're definitely Marjorie
Now today
Taylor
you're back to a
Greene.
rhino.
Yeah.
No,
Who's a flip flopper in
I'm talking about
Republican flip flopper?
A Republican flip flopper? Not many. There aren't many flip floppers, I don't think.
Well, your flip flopper's Jim Jordan right now.
Yeah, Jim Jordan.
So you would be Jim Jordan. I would
That's your
I would say
flip-flopper.
nominate Vic, but no, because you would vote with I think you would vote with the rhinos. I really do. On some of these issues. Because you'd be like, unite. We got to unite the Republican Party.
Todd says Vic could be a long lost cousin of Matt Gaetz. Where are you going with that? Romney with the slicked hair and makeup kit. Oh my God. And we're not fighting. We're hashing things out. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we're doing. I'm sorry. The Republican Party, to me, Tabitha, is not in a good spot. These divisions have been happening.
This has to happen
since Donald Trump came into office, and he divided, or people divided themselves in this party. The lasting effects are still there. He's still the guy that says he's running for president, and you've got your Boebers, Marjorie Taylor Greens, Gates. I mean, well, I don't know about Gates, but those are hardcore Trump supporters.
Yeah.
And they're the ones who make up the 19 or 20.
And now, because they're doing this, the establishment Republicans are coming out against them and saying, well, what do you expect from them? They are also election deniers, because that's what happens when you stand up against the establishment. All of a sudden you're crazy, or you're an election denier. They're totally gaslighting these folks, and it's ridiculous.
I would say this. I don't mind if these 20 take today and they go on all the news channels and they make their case like Gates just did, and they make sure that the entire American, all the Republicans understand this. These are our demands. This is what we want. I wouldn't mind if you saw the Bobbitts going out there and basically saying, well, this is what we want. And then in the court of public opinion, McCarthy comes out and he says, I heard their demands. I completely capitulate and agree. Now, we can't do the term limits because maybe he has his reason why he can't do term limits, but at least everyone's on the record of what they want. So then moving forward, they can say, see, we told you this guy's a complete hack.
It's all theater.
All theater. But it's not theater. These people are fighting for our country. And they're trying to say, hey, we're willing to compromise. We'll let you be speaker, but let's not send out another $1.7 trillion omnibus bill.
But see, the thing about it,
no, we're going to do exactly that.
Which McCarthy did sign.
Yes.
But once again, I did not like that. I did not like that he did it. But once again, you're not going to like everything that the politicians that you vote for do. Most of the time, I think it's fair to say we vote for the lesser of two evils. We've talked about that.
Yeah, and I would say this also. I would say this. We are a republic, the United States, the people, the good people. We vote for representatives to go to, but the House of Representatives is a true democracy. 51%, one vote over, and you win everything. So they do have caucuses. They go into a room and they vote. Remember, 200 people said, we want this guy over here. His name is McCarthy. We want him. Everybody was saying kumbaya and they left. And 20 of them said, no, that's not what we want. We're going to take this process hostage. Not that that's not their right to do it, but the rest of the country, along with the liberal media, are going to use this as a weapon. Do you not understand that? This has been weaponized.
She doesn't care.
This has now been weaponized on people who consume news and say, look, these guys can't even get their crap together, and you want them running the country? Come on, please.
Well, no, because they do have it together. That's just it. They do have it together, and they're fighting for what they believe in. That's why these people were elected into these positions, was to fight for this country, and they're doing what their constituents want them to do, what they elected them to do.
Yeah, but the constituents of Colorado and Texas
standing up.
But right, they have their one vote. They of course have their one vote, and they get to represent that constituency out of their district. However, there's 200 other districts that are voting as well.
Can we talk about Democrats for a second?
Well, no, screw the Democrats.
No, because you guys, Eric, you in particular, are always talking about how the Democrats keep it
together. Let me give you an example.
They hold it together.
There were 4 people in PRL that wanted to do WHAM, Wake Me Up Before You Go, and I voted against it, but I still have to do it because I got outvoted. Period. And that's the way. That's the way of a democracy.
Eric, you were going, and what I was getting ready to say is, Tabitha, here's the deal. Have you ever been on a team?
There we go.
I'm on a team right now.
Here we go, Vic.
Okay. When you're on a team,
You bend over and take it
Most
from the
embarrassing
people
thing I've ever
who-
done.
I love you, Tabitha.
Here we go. Wind it up.
When you're on a team, you've got your team.
No, I in team.
The big team, little me. The team goes against this team, Republicans, Democrats,
There we go.
conservatives, liberals. That's how the system is set up.
Here
Now,
we
if
go.
You want to have another conversation about breaking up the teams in the system, as you've already said.
Yes.
That's great, but it's never going to happen in our lifetime. So that's
Now, can we go back to
now
the
let's get back
Democrats?
to the
No,
team.
you got to respond to that
No,
This
first.
you
is
guys
about
never
Democrats.
allowed me to finish what I was saying about Democrats. Eric, you
No,
started
Well,
talking.
Democrats. We were talking about Republicans.
I said I want to talk about Democrats for a second, and you started
go
saying
ahead.
something else.
Go, Tabitha.
I want to go back to Democrats because the Democrats, Eric, like you so often say, they hold it together. They support
Yes,
each other
yes.
regardless. And that's why they lost their party because they didn't have
No,
20 people standing
no.
up for them. Democrats used to be the
No.
blue dog Democrats.
Okay.
My grandparents were diehard Democrats. Teamsters, union folks. They
Yes.
had a flag in front of their house. My
Yes.
grandpa had a flag on his car.
Keep preaching.
That's not the Democrat Party
No.
anymore. Why? Because people infiltrated their party and the blue dog Democrats didn't stand up. They
Right.
didn't fight
Ooh.
because they said we're going to side with these people because we have to have this vision of unity in our party. And guess what happened? They got pushed out of their party. They lost their party. Now we have socialists who are actually Democrats. We have progressives who are Democrats. They lost their party because they didn't stand up.
Good
We
point.
cannot do that as Republicans.
Good
We have
point.
to push these progressive establishment folks out of the party. They don't represent us. And if we don't fight right now for our party, we're going to be just like the Democrats. And you know what? There's going to be no place for us.
I agree with
That
part
was
of
very
what you
nice.
say.
That was very well said.
Thank you.
I'm not even playing. Good job, Tab.
Now back to reality.
Now back to the show.
When you have a team, the Republicans and Democrats are going against each other, whether you like the team you're on or not. You signed up to play for that team. You signed up for the
Yes.
Republican Party knowing the issues that were there.
Yeah.
You're not going to always get what you want on the team.
That's right.
Band, business, sports, whatever. You fight for what you want, like you said, Tabitha. But at the end of the day, when you realize that you're not going to get what you want, I'm going to take my ball and go home. You become a problem for
That's
the
right.
team. Even if what you
Be a
think,
problem.
even if what you think is right and everything else is wrong, you become a selfish individual. When you are a team, at the end of the day, you come together, even if you don't agree with the whole outcome of what's going on. And whether people agree with this or not, the Republicans have to be a united team in public and fight like hit behind doors. Don't go public with the BS. You have to fight for what you can. You're right, Tabitha. But when you start going public and make it like this and we hate this, I'm just telling you, the messaging that you're sending to conservatives and Republicans across the country, it's not a positive thing.
Right.
It might be to a small sect, a leaner, meaner group, but at the end of the day, you're only hurting yourself.
Yep.
Freedom doesn't come easy. That's
That-
all I got
okay.
to say. Then
Then blow up the party.
blow up
Democrats
the party.
get whatever they want for the next 100 years.
Yep.
And then you
That's not
start
gonna
to
happen.
slowly, surely work your way back up.
That's right.
You know what?
I'm talking about the team aspect.
I understand what you're
I
saying.
don't like the rules. I don't like everything Kevin McCarthy has done. I do respect Jim Jordan. And if Jim Jordan is standing there saying Kevin McCarthy is the best guy, we have to go with
and-
that.
and I'm gonna
or at
come-
least I do.
I'd like to go back to her point a little bit because the scenario would be like this. Nancy Pelosi is establishment. You've always agreed. Schumer is establishment, but the AOCs and that far left, they were the ones that came into the offices and said, Mr. President, we will not accept you putting a border wall up. And guess what? Joe Biden, who wanted to put a border wall up 20 years ago, is now like, we're not going to put a border wall up. So they had a loud voice in that party. And when they went to Nancy Pelosi and they said, we want these socialistic green policies, Nancy Pelosi, who's an establishment figure, she said, we're going to put these green policies in here all over the place. And so will Chuck Schumer. We guarantee it. So they had a loud ass voice. So that kind of speaks to what you said. But the caveat there was, the Democrats all steamrolled everything. They just went and they were, like we said on the show, they're army ants. They went together. The Republicans, this Jim Jordan guy, will be the voice that goes into McCarthy's office and says, yes, son, here's what we're going to do with the border. And McCarthy's going to go, okay, go ahead and make your, not going to,
No.
oh, yes, he will.
No.
Oh, yes, he will.
If that was going to be the case, if McCarthy was going to, first of all, McCarthy and Jim Jordan are definitely not on the same page. And if
Then why is Jim
McCarthy-
promoting him?
He didn't promote
Exactly.
him. He's trying to
That's
take
Tabitha.
the higher
No,
road.
Tabitha, see, you like to use
Trying
all
to
these
take
other
the higher
words.
road.
You got to take, yes.
Tabitha, you're not making sense.
Jim Jordan is against McCarthy. He has made several
Then
statements
if he's
about
against him,
that.
Then why did
He formed the Freedom Caucus.
But then
to
why
fight
is he?
the
You're
establishment?
making my point against yourself.
No, he
You
after,
are.
okay,
You are.
Tabitha.
after the first vote,
Doesn't matter.
he conceded because he said, and I'm sure he did it because to keep the party together.
That's my
But
point.
I don't care about
Thank
Jim
you.
Jordan. I care about this country. It doesn't matter to
Guy,
me what Jim Jordan.
help
It's
me.
easy to
Andy
say what you're
Biggs
saying.
was also a person they nominated. Andy Biggs didn't even, as far as I know, give a statement.
It's like nominating. It's like having Ronald Reagan is the guy that the party wants.
You don't want
But you're trying to promote some small little Republican.
I agree with you, Tabitha, but here's the problem. While the game is in play, you have to play the game.
Yeah.
I don't have to play the game.
Yes, you do.
I am not. That would
You
make
just
me
like-
an
you-
establishment person.
No,
I don't have
see,
to play any
it's easy
game.
to say what you're saying. I agree with everything
It
you
is-
say.
yes, I know.
And it's easy to say that. That's the fight. I don't screw everybody. Throw it all. Yeah,
Yeah.
throw the baby with the bathwater out. It's easy. No, you
Freedom
have
isn't
to.
easy.
It's very difficult to work within the parameters that have been placed on you for the game that you decided to play.
Yeah.
And it is a game and it sucks.
Yeah.
All this sucks. But Jim Jordan, you made my point. At the end of, despite creating the Freedom Caucus, is the guy standing there for Kevin McCarthy, which is why Kevin McCarthy will be elected into this position. At the end of the day, all you have done is beat each other up, just like it would be if DeSantis and Trump ran against each other in a primary, beating each other up. At the end of the day, you come out, okay, we got our winner who's all bangled, he's all ripped up and beaten down, and then you have to go take on the real team,
Well,
the Democrats.
you and I will never agree on this because
Jim Jordan is promoting Kevin McCarthy.
Okay,
It's
stop.
not about-
Breaking news.
defeats any
Breaking
it's
point
not
news.
that you
about
make.
Jim Jordan.
Breaking news. You're a Trump guy, gal, correct? Breaking news. This just came out, by the way.
Yes.
So this is a conversation. This is what Trump thinks about.
I need a breaking news sound.
I know we need a breaking news. sound. That was
Well,
pretty good.
yeah.
Just record what you just did there.
That was really bad, but go for it.
So last night, I guess last night they didn't go home and watch MASH episodes in their apartments. That's for damn sure. They were having meetings. So Trump says some really good conversations took place last night. Hey, I didn't know that. Okay, but Trump was a part of these apparently. Took place last night. It is now time for all of our great Republican House members to vote for Kevin McCarthy. That was posted on Truth Social just
Trump
recently.
also
So now
backed
Now
So
Tabitha
Dr.
will
Oz.
never.
So now-
Tabitha will never say she's wrong. She'll
I'm not-
just come up with something else.
It's not. You can't be wrong in your
Well,
opinion.
you
your
know what I
opinion is
mean.
yours.
Yeah.
So-
No, I mean like go the
You
other
can't be
way.
wrong.
So-
No, I will never change my mind.
So basically, Trump said, close the deal, take
Screw
the
Trump.
victory. Watch crazy Nancy fly back to her home, a very broken California, the only speaker in the U.S. history to have lost the House twice.
Dun
So,
dun dun.
so that comes from the mouthpiece
The
of the
Don.
Republican Party. The
Well,
Don.
so did the. You
And
know what
Ke-
else came from the mouthpiece of the Republican Party? Is that letter that said Eric is my nomination for U.S. Senate in the state of Missouri.
So Trump is not holding any water in your
not
eyes
no.
anymore.
I make my own decisions. Trump does not speak for me. I might love the man. I love his policies, but no one speaks
Now
for
you
me.
have
I
Jim
only
Jordan.
speak for
Hold on.
myself.
On the record now, you have Jim Jordan, the guy that doesn't want the
Yeah.
damn job, and now you have Trump. That
I don't
says,
care. I don't care.
And here's the third thing that unfortunately Tabitha said. You've got Trump,
Yeah.
you've got Jordan.
Yeah.
And when I asked Tabitha, when she said that Cruz and was not a good Republican, and I can't remember who
Correct.
the other one was. Who was the other? She said Cruz
Hawley.
and Hawley are not true conservatives, and I about lost my
I
mind
know,
on you.
man.
And then I said, well, who's
They're
a
playing the
Republican that you
game.
respect? And you said Marjorie Taylor Greene. Eric, guess who Marjorie Taylor Greene voted for House Speaker?
McCarthy.
Kevin
That's okay.
McCarthy.
She's got her own
Look,
mind.
I look at it like this.
I have my own mind. If I was a
I
member
know.
of
Yeah.
the House, guess what? I would have my own vote. I would have my own mind. I don't have to follow anyone, not even the great President Donald Trump.
I love
And
this show.
And I would be one of these 1920 folks holding
and now
out.
look at Drew Collins chiming in.
He's eating popcorn
He
watching
is
the show.
And I want to be Drew this morning. He's like, what?
He
you
said,
guys got?
Tabitha, you're wrong.
the Speaker
Democrats
of the
have
House,
new leadership and they're united.
Oh, I could care
Yeah.
less about Democrats have completely lost their minds.
I love C. Martin because C. Martin's as all over us, Eric. You two are so blind. Maybe we are. I'm just saying this is how the game
The
is played.
speaker is the most important role. They're going to make all the decisions.
Damn, we're running late.
And right off the bat, McCarthy saying, I'm not with you folks. I don't support America.
And this is Tabitha.
No,
at-
it's not what he said.
Hurry up, go to break now, Scotty.
This is Tabitha at her best. This is a
Cut
best
him off,
of reel.
cut him off.
This is a best of reel for Tabitha.
Yep, Drew says I was laughing my ass off yesterday. Robert said leadership is hard. Coalitions come with log rolling. 100%.
You know that's right.
Danielle says I have a feeling this is all over Drew's head.
Drew's still fighting for the Democrats
Tara
that are killing
says
him.
they're all making deals. Different head of the same snake.
Oh,
Swampy.
Ominous.
that was a good one.
Tabitha's holding out for Larry
Yeah.
Elders.
She wants Sarah Palin to come back.
Hey, by the way, after our after our cancel this kickoff party last Thursday, I forgot to tell this. When we were sitting there, we took a pictures. I think Eric and I don't know, we were talking. Eric grabbed a bottle. I think it was Glenn brought you a bottle of bourbon, maybe?
Oh, it was tequila.
Or you got to head to I had the bourbon.
Yeah.
Eric had tomorrow morning, Scott, Tabitha, he's like, we're gonna be drinking this on the show.
Oh, that's right. And that didn't happen.
That
now,
bottle
did it?
never made it
I'll
in
tell
here.
you what, I got it in my car right now.
All right. By the way, we all love each other, but we got to have these conversations.
It's so fun.
We're
watching
just like the
Tabitha.
Republican Party,
Tabitha winds it up, man.
woo!
Love
Except Eric's the independent. That's what
All
they said.
right,
Some
I'll
days.
do it.
it. This is how Green Bay fans must have felt when they got rid of Favre for Aaron Rodgers.
At first,
Because Favre was the establishment. And they were like, no. We need this Aaron Rodgers kid.
the problem is there's no Aaron Rodgers ready to go on the Republican
Good
side.
point. Damn. It's a good damn show. I'd like to just go listen to it.
Canceltheshow.com. Share the show. Continue to share the show. Let people know what we're doing. Go to our website, canceltheshow.com. You know what to do there. Scott Gherkin on the boards. Eric Johnson, Tab the Hassel, Vic Faust. We're going to continue that conversation when we come back. Plus, man, oh man, we're going to get into the biggest Twitter drop yet, maybe, from Elon Musk. This really pissed me off. We're talking about 250,000 accounts being asked by, the Biden administration, the U.S. government, cancel them. Cancel 250,000 accounts because we don't like what they're saying on Twitter. Plus, in the 9 o'clock hour, we've got a 21-year-old conservative podcaster from Ole Miss joining us. We're going to question him about what it's like to be conservative at that age and what kids care about, if anything. Back with more Cancel This after this. Hey, is being a rhino better than being a Dem?
It's better than being a hippo. I don't even know what that means. So
I don't either, but that's
I don't
fine.
either.
It is canceled this. Eric Johnson, Tabitha Haslam, Vic Faust, Scotty Yorkin. I mean, serious. I mean, you're right. You're right. Yeah, I know.
So the consensus is this: they might come up with a deal where they vote for a Democrat, a moderate Democrat.
No,
That's not
Not
going. There,
gonna
that's
happen.
not even a possibility.
You don't think so?
Well, no,
No.
Jeffries is the only option,
Oh, okay, didn't know
and
that.
he is not a moderate Democrat.
I'm surprised you didn't say Jeffries was a better choice than Kevin McCarthy.
Yeah, what if
Come on now.
what if the Dems and the Republicans got together and said we can't do this forever? We have to come up with a consensus that we can get some Democrat votes. What if the next Speaker of the House has some Democrat votes attached to it? Then you would
Well,
be
that's
really
not going to
pissed,
happen.
wouldn't you?
That's not going to happen. Technically, if a Republican does vote for Jeffries, then he will get it. But they're not going to do that. They're going to hold out with this Trump announcement. Who knows? Maybe these folks on the Freedom Caucus, they are
Did it make
Trump
you think
supporters.
during the break? Did it make you
no,
think?
I will always
course
hold
not.
my position.
Of course you will.
I've been reaching out to Rodney Davis, by the way.
Good.
Haven't heard back from his people anymore. I don't know. We're trying to talk to him because he'll tell us. Because you call Rodney Rhino Davis.
No,
You don't?
no.
Oh, okay. He voted for
No.
the omnibus bill
What if
too,
Mark?
though.
What if Mark McCloskey said we should do it? Would you feel good about doing it?
What?
I'm just asking if Mark McCloskey said, "Hey, Tabitha, we need to vote for
No,
it."
I have my own mind. I don't care what anyone else does or what anyone else
Really?
votes for.
So there's no discussion that can be had.
No, but I will be curious what I will be watching out today. Now that Eric, you broke that news about President Donald Trump, the great man, coming out and saying that these folks should vote for McCarthy and be done with it.
Well,
I will be curious if they take his advice.
You have two freedom fighters now on the record. One that is being voted for as one of these speakers of the House, saying we want McCarthy, knock it off. I'll leave it there. I'll just leave it right on the floor.
But I don't see it. I don't see it that way. I see that as if Vic, let's say if Vic was McCarthy, Vic was Jim Jordan, okay?
Yeah, and I was McCarthy.
And you're McCarthy. You can be McCarthy if you want. You're more like McCarthy, and he's more like Jim Jordan. And so if
what the hell is happening?
I'm just kidding. And
respect.
If
Go on.
If Vic here
Okay.
was trying to take the higher road,
Mhm.
and he's like, well, I know my people are going to continue to nominate me,
My
and I don't
people?
have to do it myself. I'm just going to take the
My
higher road, and
people?
I'm going
What
to
do you-
support. Well, a lot of these people who
Are you
are
leading them to the Red Sea and you're going to split it? At
a
some
lot
point?
of the people holding
who are
out
your people.
are part of his Freedom Caucus. He's
Okay.
one of the founders of the Freedom Caucus.
Watch your mouth.
Caw-caw.
Okay, we're in stand and wait mode.
Caucus. I promise I'm not drinking. We're just having some good
I
time.
know.
We need an animation with a parrot.
Hey, in other news, there was no Mega Millions winning jackpot last night.
$1 billion.
$785 million was the
It's
total,
gone up more.
and it's supposed to go up to just under $1 billion.
It's over $1
again.
billion.
The estimated is $940 million on Friday night's draw. Who knows? It could go over that. If there was one winner with 940, the cash value would be about $490 million.
Are you going to play?
Yeah, why not? Sure, I'll get one ticket.
Eric?
It'll give
No,
me,
I'm not.
it'll give me 5 seconds of anticipation and hope.
You can't win
Just
if
like
you don't
there's
play.
the same hope that I have for the Republican Party.
My pet peeve in all of life is that when I'm trying to get
You miss that.
my bottle of
I
water
heard.
at Quick Trip, and you guys are playing the damn scratch offs in front of me.
No, those are the people. I'm
It's
with
called
you.
Quick
It's
Trip
called
for a
Quick
reason.
Trip for a reason.
Get the hell out of the way. Go to the casino.
Yeah, exactly.
I hate it.
Well, no, that's not people getting quick picks. That's people giving their own numbers, which have to be put in. That's the pain in the ass.
That's my pet
There should be a
peeve.
separate line. If Quick Trip or any other gas station is going to do this or sell tickets, there needs to be a separate line with a separate worker. I agree with you, Eric, 100%. Because there's nothing like going to Quick Trip and it being a long wait
Yeah.
because, you've got, Grandpa Bob with
Exactly.
20 tickets that.
And there
he
are
plays
some
on
worse
number.
than others. And
more
I will
power to you.
I will out them.
And by the way, lottery statistical analysis shows you don't have an advantage picking your own numbers.
Yeah.
It's 50-50.
You know what you can do? What I did the last time it was up high, I never buy lottery tickets, but I did on that occasion.
Yeah,
and
we're
I,
experts in lottery as well.
Yeah, and I buy tickets sometimes for family members.
Yeah.
There's the Deerbergs on Highway K.
Here we go.
If you go in the side door
Yeah.
and kind of just loop around the little corner,
Yeah.
there's a little room there and it has all these lottery machines in it.
Mm.
And all you have to do is put your money in the machine and choose quick pick, and a little ticket pops out at the bottom.
So that,
And then you're on your way.
yes.
Interesting.
Tabitha
I didn't
is
know that.
giving you all the inside information. Now it's going to be packed.
Yeah,
every time you
it'll
go
be
there.
a long. Yeah, but Quick Trip won't be.
No, it won't. But if you go to the Quick Trip on
That's my little secret.
if you in St. Charles, it's down by Lindenwood College. If you go to that Quick Trip, it'll take you 45 minutes
don't
to get a
go-
glass of water.
I do not go inside gas stations for any reason whatsoever.
Why not?
I just will refuse to do so.
Why?
For reasons. There's nothing in there I need to buy.
Nothing.
Nothing. I
The
don't
donuts are
smoke. I don't
good.
drink sodas. I don't go in and get donuts.
Yeah.
So I have zero reason to go inside of a
Not
gas
even
station.
late at night after a gig.
I don't have gigs.
Oh, I do. I guess that's why I go there. There's some shady people in there.
I
after
use my
hours.
card at the pump and
I'm
I
one
leave.
of them.
We'll continue to talk about the Republican situation if you want to. if
But
you
someone
need
made a
to.
great point, and this goes right to
Go
you.
ahead and do it.
Before we go into the next thing. Jordan from who said this? Jimmy. This is genius. Jordan doesn't want it because he wants to be able to cross-examine in the Judiciary Committee. That's a great
Yeah,
point.
you wouldn't be able to do that.
That's a great. You're taking one of your
Can you,
rock.
can you repeat that again?
You're taking one of your rock stars off the field.
I don't know if I
making-
believe that though.
So you think the Speaker of the House is going to go actually work in a committee?
He
That's
would
not going to
be-
happen.
Jim Jordan would be a fantastic Speaker of the House. It would change everything.
Wouldn't you rather see Jim Jordan
Everything in
as
this
the?
country would change.
Wouldn't you rather see Jim Jordan as the lead at the Judiciary Committee, cross-examining the DOJ, the
No,
FBI?
he could,
You know who does
Oh
a
my
damn
God,
good.
this is such a
No,
great,
you know who
monumental
does-
someone else
point.
do it.
Here we go. You know who does a damn good job at that?
Who?
Hawley.
Yeah, but that's the
In the
Senate.
I mean, in
That's
the Senate.
Senate.
In the Senate.
Oh
he
God,
is-
yeah.
That's his niche. That guy, he's amazing at that job.
Yeah,
I don't
but-
care if people like him or not, but cross-examining, he is
get
incredible.
him. You should get Hawley on the show.
We will. We'll reach out to him.
No, we won't. He won't. He never does any kind of radio.
Yeah, he never did.
He doesn't do podcasting.
don't-
That's part of the reason I don't like him.
They didn't do it early in the mornings either. They offered taped interviews to us and me in the afternoon,
Like Zelensky, yes.
but not live, not in the mornings. They didn't do much in the morning.
But
He's
that,
getting
but
his eyebrows done.
Yeah. you go down these rabbit holes and you get some very good comments like that. I can't imagine anyone I'd rather see in these committees than Jim Jordan. He's going to be fierce against all of this Hunter Biden stuff, up against the DOJ, against the Twitter file crap. I mean, that's the
So
guy.
you want him to be
Well-
your Speaker of the House then? Because think of the change he would make if he were. Think about that.
Speaking of the Twitter file, Twitter dump again. Now we find out the U.S. government demanded that 250,000 accounts be banned off Twitter, blocked, you name it, including journalists and Canadian officials for what the U.S. government classified or decided as being misinformation accounts and accounts that were against the government.
Imagine
Wow.
that.
250,000 from the U.S. government. That starts with the Biden administration. It goes into Representative Adam Schiff as well. His office, his personal office, Adam Schiff's personal office, made request for Twitter to suspend accounts. We're not surprised. We find out about what Fauci did. Oh, Fauci retires and he gets out of Dodge. Then the Twitter dump comes. Not while he's in office. Adam Schiff is on his way out as well, right? Isn't
Yes.
Adam Schiff leaving?
Yes.
Now we get the information as he goes out. So one of the examples was in 2020, Schiff's office contacted Twitter. Just think of where you think you are and who you are that you think you can just contact Twitter and say, I want these people
Well,
off.
what do you mean? These guys did not know that Twitter was going to be bought by somebody. They knew that this was going to be their propaganda arm. Did you ever hear the
So that QAnon conspiracy theorists were saying things against his office.
Well, everybody was saying things against his office. I'm sure it's not just QAnon people.
Twitter, could you eliminate these people? I mean, think of the mindset. You think you can just stop free speech over and over and over again because you don't like it.
And they can.
And they did.
And they are.
And they
They
did. It's
did.
come full circle.
Not to do we think we can. It was someone telling an intern at the White House, hey, can you call Twitter for me? Yeah. John Noble out of Southern Missouri. We got to get him off there. Okay, no problem. I'll take care of it. Boom, gone. He's off that next day. I mean, that's how it was. It wasn't like, hey, we have to go through the process. We got to get a lawyer. We got to get somebody to investigate this. No, it was a phone call to the Twitter office. The Twitter office said, yeah, we'll take care of it. It was done. Whether it was a shadow ban or accounts just being ripped off completely.
And now we see how important that money was to Twitter, because now that the truth is being told on Twitter, guess what? They are about to go under, because you know what? This goes to show how in this country, folks support the suppression of free speech. Because when Twitter suppressed free speech, look at all of the sponsors they had. Look at all of the investors they had. Look at all the ads that ran. Look at all the government money that came in. Now that they're for free speech and they're for the truth, all that money has gone away.
Just a couple minutes ago, Elon Musk tweeted, remember this, 12 months ago, I was person of the year.
Yep. Now he's enemy of the
Put that in
state.
perspective
Yeah.
in regards to what we have. I mean, Tabitha's right. It sounds crazy. It sounds, fight for your freedom. But remember, it is state-run. It is state-run media.
Yeah.
It's literally what you have. I lived it. I know it. Maybe not to the extent that Tabitha says, but it's there.
Oh, yeah.
It's 100% there. And now that you're starting to see what's actually going on and the Twitter files are being dumped, how are people going to handle this? When you look at the history of broadcasting and news,
Oh, yeah.
and this is monumental. It is a monumental time. I don't know if we've ever seen anything like this before.
Going back to your statement about how I'm always talking about it being state-ran media, and maybe it's not as bad as I say it is. Think about, and I'm not criticizing you for saying that. Think about this. Fox National, who we talk about fairly often, they ran ads that were pro-vaccine. They ran ads that were pro-government and pro-mandates and all of this stuff. Their host came on and said, go and get the vaccine. Their host came on and said, wear your mask. Fox National supported mandates. Now, maybe hosts like like Tucker Carlson didn't.
Okay, but see, that's the problem.
If the government withdrew their money, Fox National would collapse.
Well,
That's called state-ran media.
And let's be honest, there's not one dictatorship on the country that would not, and they all do. The Kremlin has their state-run media. Kim Jong-un has his state-run media. The good people of Iran have their state-run media. And there's no doubt about it. Any government that wants their point put across, they don't like freedom of speech. They want their speech to get out so that their points are the ones that are absorbed. So there's no doubt of why they did this. It was a propaganda thing. They wanted to reduce conservative speech so that theirs could flourish. And that's all there is to it. And then that's just another piece of the puzzle that we were trying to figure out from the beginning of COVID, Tabitha. Now we have the border. We know what's going on with the border. You're trying to get the demographics so you have the votes in 20 years.
How deep does it go? How deep does it go?
Now you have the United States government, which is beholden to the Constitution, which says freedom of speech is a paramount thing for their citizens, not to mention the right to bear arms. But so that's where the nefarious, shady ass crap is coming from. And it's where you should be really upset that your government is trying to suppress speech.
What?
Even if it is on.
You just said we should vote for McCarthy, who's going to further suppress.
Stop. Oh, Tabitha.
Now you're flip-flopping.
No, he's Tabitha. Come on.
But this is it's
Tabitha,
really,
you went overboard.
It's way more important than that, because it could happen to a Democrat. I could totally see a Republican administration coming in there where they have the Senate, the House, the Supreme Court. Maybe they have a few buddies at the DOJ, and they say anything you see online, anything that has to do with the Green New Deal garbage, I want it gone. I want it gone. And what if they did that to Democrats? What if they came in there and said, I don't want to see one Bernie Sanders post ever again?
Democrats are running the show, so that's not going to happen.
I'm just saying.
Eric, think
Would
about
you
this.
would you think that would be a good idea?
The Democrats run the show.
No, I'm just saying,
That's
can you
obvious.
be intellectually honest enough? I can, that it would be a good idea for to save the country in the order of saving the country. Would it be okay for the White House to say no more Bernie Sanders, no more AOC? I don't want to see anything that is liberal on Facebook, Twitter, or any of these media outlets.
That'll never happen.
I didn't say it would. I'm saying if it did happen, would that be all right?
No, because they deserve their freedom of speech as much as we do.
Correct.
I would not support
Correct.
that. I think everybody has their right to freedom of speech.
Right.
But what I'm curious about is we talk about Twitter and we talk about these dumps. We see all of the truth now. We see what's happening to Twitter because of these dumps. Everybody withdrawing money. Now there's this order out there where Elon Musk is going to be possibly forced to sell Twitter for a fraction of what he paid for it. They're coming after him because he's telling the truth. That's
100%.
only a tip of the iceberg. What if somebody like Elon Musk or Elon Musk himself bought all of the social media platforms? Would we find the same information out about all of them?
Hell yeah, we would.
Google would be about 1 billion times worse than any of this stuff.
Don't say the word.
It would all go out. That's what my point was. We found out what was going on with Twitter.
Tip of the iceberg.
What's going on with other things?
What's going on in our media? Think if the government, if
I mean, I dealt with it with local media. I'll tell it again.
And you know they were
I was told
sponsored.
I was not allowed to do stories that showed an alternative to wearing mask. Studies, asking docs, why masks don't work like other. Can't do that.
Yeah,
you can't. I was literally told that at Fox 2. You cannot do stories. I'm like, why not? Why not? Let's go talk to people. Can we, and whether people got vaccinated or not, why can't we just give another alternative to say, there's all these other people that say, oh, maybe this isn't the best thing.
Yeah.
Hey, if you want to do it, but this isn't the end all. And guess what? Those docs were proven right. They were right. The vaccine never stopped us from spreading the virus.
So are you saying that local news can be state-ran media to some degree?
Not on purpose. I think that it's one of those situations. People are afraid. Everybody's afraid of being canceled.
But they're taking the money.
Yeah, everybody's afraid. Oh, well, I don't want to upset this person. Matt, if I do this, I'm going to upset this person. I was told we couldn't do stories on certain advertisers. Well, we can't do that. We'll lose our money. We'll lose our funding. Yeah. But we can't do that. I'm like, why not? Nothing's happened yet. Well, it could look bad. We don't want to do that. We don't want to upset the apple cart. Yeah, those things happen. They do. Not in some vicious way, but I think it just kind of happens like, oh, well, we're in a bad situation. We're afraid, because a lot of people are afraid in business, and especially in media, when it comes to about 10%, because it's that loud 10% of people that may say something, and then you have an issue.
And it's the whole power of, you see those videos online where they're actually reading from the same script. You guys get that? I know local media does.
Well, now, but that was. Oh, I know that personally. That was overdone. What that was, it was made to seem like, oh, we're all saying the same. That was Sinclair, and what it was it was a one-time. If you've seen it on social media, you see people pop it up where they're saying, they'll show one picture and they're saying it from one newscast.
I do
and
that.
Then it's two casts. Then Absolutely. It was 3, 4, 5. Those were all Sinclair stations. And it was a comment on one specific story where they were talking about what
happens
they do.
all the time, though. Happens.
No, it doesn't. I've only seen one instance of it, and it was with Sinclair because they were going to buy our station, and they had everybody do it, but it had nothing to do with stories that were being told. It was one.
That's something
statement.
different than what I'm talking about. There are times when I will go out online and I will search a specific statement. Maybe it'll be about shortages or about something else. And there will be 50, 60 or more sites that pull up, and it's not news, it's articles, where it is a cookie cutter image of the exact same article. The only difference is they put a different city name in.
Correct.
And they do it across
because
the board.
You copy and paste.
They copy and paste.
But that's not. City. But that's not trying to get an agenda out. Those are lazy producers trying to get information.
Well, it is an agenda because a lot of it is about pro-vaccine. A lot of it was pro-Fauci. It was all an agenda.
Because they need content for websites. So you'll grab stuff.
but it was all the
'Cause everything's
same
about
article.
content.
And I remember we talked about this back on the War on COVID because there was something circulating back then where it was the exact same wording, the exact same article shared across hundreds of platforms. The only difference is they would change the city name and they would change the number of COVID cases in that city. And it's ridiculous. It drives me insane.
Kurt says, we know the NFL player did not collapse from the shot, says the media. We had a doctor on yesterday that said nothing to do with it. But then last night, Tucker Carlson had on a guest. Tucker had on, I'm trying to remember who he had. Oh, he had McCullough on last night, Dr. McCullough. And Dr. McCullough didn't say that Hamlin passed out because of it. But what he did bring up is that there are more heart attacks with young athletes than we've ever seen in the history of this country. And I can't remember, somebody probably watched it and you're like, oh, and we've talked a lot about that on the Edge, and we've continued it on here with Cancel This.
Yeah.
Dr. McCullough brought up the stats and it's like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Why are there a influx of heart attacks with kids? But the national media isn't talking about that. And you're certainly not talking about with local media. That's for sure.
Yeah. I think it was still that whatever that condition was, but I mean,
but it all gets back where we know what national news is.
Yeah.
That's why you have to find outlets like ours.
Yeah. It's like we're always fighting against misinformation. That's the problem with this country and this world right now is that everything you hear, even when you watch your local news, you feel like you have to go do your own research. Oh, here's the headline. Now I got to go research.
You do have to.
Now I got to go research it on Snopes.
Oh God.
Or you wouldn't want to go to Snopes.
And then if you go to Snopes, you find out that those guys.
We found out Snopes was a joke.
Exactly. I didn't know that until just recently.
No, Eric, that's the problem with any media now. And that's why when Tabitha's like, well, you got to go study. And I was like, but then you have to be careful where you try to go and do your own study, because you can't just go to Google and type in mask or vaccines or myocarditis or docs that are telling the truth, because you're not going to find it on those sites. You're just not.
Research is not easy. You have to look at several different sources, and you have to look at sources from all sides of the equation to get to the truth.
I always look at it like they know the truth, especially with health issues and with the environmental issues decades later. And St. Louis, Missouri is a great example of that. Now, not to change the subject too much, but it is misinformation, because back in the 40s and the 50s, they used Weldon Springs as a place to dump nuclear waste. This is where they brought nuclear waste.
Agent Orange across the city of St. Louis.
They did a test with Agent Orange. It was said that this is safe, nothing to worry about here. 50 years later, 60, 70 years later, they're going, this is an environmental disaster.
Never trust the government.
Cold Creek in St. Louis is a monster disaster, which people still live in. But it wasn't told to us at the moment that it was happening. And I look at the vaccine the same way. What you're telling me is, if I put this vaccine in my arm, this is safe, right? Doctors going, yes, very safe. What happens in 30 years when there's 1,000, 2,000 athletes that just drop dead on the field because of this thing that hardens your heart, or whatever it does to your heart? Then they have to do the post-mortem on that and go, well, we didn't know it was going to cause this kind of damage, and we're very sorry. And then you have the class action lawsuits or whatever it is. But to me, it's always better to not participate in the flavor of the month when it comes to vaccines and all this environmental stuff.
Well, once again, it's experimental. Remember, it's experimental. I'm still waiting for somebody to show me where it's not an experimental situation. So if we decided to get one, last I saw, it was still experimental. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I still have not seen that paperwork that was supposed to be signed by President Biden almost a year ago. So we rely on you guys too. We're not the experts on everything. We provide the platform, we provide the commentary, but I can't remember where I saw it ever become that way, because if it's still experimental, then when issues happen, you can't sue anybody for any condition that you may have.
That's true.
Very true.
That's so true.
And then the media stopped covering it. Yep. Jeff, two people jumped in. It's still experimental, but it's interesting how national media, local media stopped covering it. We won't. We'll continue to talk about everything because we want everybody to be in the best situation they can possibly be.
And then you have this thing where it's like you watch
and
not to cut you off, but like you have these people like myself that watch Twitter a lot, or Reels, or TikTok or whatever it is. And all of a sudden you see a video come up and say, the reason they want you to take this vaccine, and they always look like they're in a white jacket and they know what they're talking about, is because the mRNA virus or vaccine is meant to kill off the population. It's supposed to be population control. And then that makes you think, guys, you go, well, that's not so far-fetched. It really looks like they're trying to cram this thing down our throat. And the only way they can get this thing to work is by getting people to take it, and it would decrease the population. I see that a lot. Well, is that misinformation? Probably, but still, a lot of people might believe that is real true. I didn't
I'm
say.
being very careful what I say today.
Yes, correct.
Because we know what will
I'm just
happen
saying
if we say
misinformation.
too
We
much.
don't even.
Misinformation.
We're trying to build listeners and promote the
Correct.
show, and
Right.
and unfortunately, there's still a very lack of freedom of speech in this country,
Correct.
and we get booted when we talk about it too
Yeah.
much.
We are literally on a show here that is on a short leash, as they say. We are.
Sometimes
You should see some of the looks that we get at each other whenever we go kind of outside of those bounds.
That's me.
Well, it's Tabitha too.
Tabitha always gives those looks.
You look at Tabitha, she's like, no, don't say that.
By
Don't
the
say
way,
that.
when you started to lose your eyesight, did your eyes go blurry?
Yes,
My eyes are going blurry today.
yes.
When did you lose your eyesight?
Well, I'm completely blind. You didn't know that.
He
That's
wears
the
he wears
Baileys in your coffee.
Yeah. Did somebody do something to me today? My eyes I'm seeing
they-
2 and
It's
3.
working. He's been roofied, people.
It wouldn't
Take
be the
advantage
first
of him
time.
while you can.
It wouldn't be the first time.
Sometimes you get that way from looking at your screen too much or your phone. Your eyes will get blurry. Double vision.
My
That's
eyes-
misinformation.
If
Maybe.
you spend a lot of time on your phone like that, it will. Your eyes get tired, so they start to lose focus.
Maybe you've been poisoned.
I don't know. I'm starting to see
Great.
2 and 3 of things.
Government got to Vic.
Mm-mm.
It's only a
Damn.
matter of time. Carlene says, in my opinion, those athletes that watch the player collapse probably were thinking they could be next. Well, I mean,
There's no question, and for a lot of different reasons. I'm sure
That
that's
game's
true.
dangerous.
yeah, well, it had nothing to do with football.
No,
Had
it
nothing
didn't.
to do. It was a
No.
normal hit that happens every play.
No.
I mean, you take a baseball off the chest or that, like same thing. Soccer, you take an elbow to the chest. These are all issues where people have had the same thing happen to their heart in the same kind of sense when you get hit when the heart's
Yeah.
at that lowest rate.
Yeah.
I'm just glad that, and we talked about it to start the show off, talking about Damar Hamlin, who is now doing better. Thank God.
Yeah. It will be nice to get him on camera at some point, maybe
Oh, he will. Yeah.
months from now, and say this is what the experience was like. And
Mhm.
it would be nice to get a doctor to come out and actually, I mean, with this much interest in the country, again, it'd be nice if they came out and said, this is what happened. This is what we think.
You mean like
happened.
yesterday
Or
when
this
we
is
had
what-
the doctor on?
Yeah.
This is what we're treating him for, and this is what we think.
I just, and the reason I love that the topic of the 250,000 accounts being asked to be deleted from Twitter by the U.S. government is this drop. Is it going to change things with certain
No.
or is it whoever owns whatever publication or platform gets to decide for their own who's on and who isn't? Because Josh Hawley made a big point about going after big tech for censoring, and other politicians did as well, so that things could possibly change because it's a matter of freedom of speech.
I think that the Democrats are smart enough to realize that
But-
that they could do bipartisan legislation and regulate this thing. Because look at Tabitha
What do you
smiling
mean?
at me.
What do
over
you
there.
mean, Eric?
I think that they know that one day that they could be the on the other end of being censored, and I think that all parties could go, we're going to regulate this.
Were
thing.
you here yesterday when we played the soundbite from Senator Klobuchar?
No, I was not.
Or not, Congresswoman? She flat out said, we're coming for you and we're going to shut you and your information platforms down if you're producing what we consider to be misinformation. And if you're making any money
What
on
year
it,
was that? Was that recently?
Yeah.
it was 2 days ago.
Oh, it was 2 days ago.
Yes.
Were
Did,
you?
did she
We
say
you
it?
played
really
it on
on
this
this show?
I wasn't here yet. You guys played it early.
No, I think you were here.
You were
right?
You were
here.
here.
That's all right, Eric. You're here today.
I'm-
And that's all that
am I?
matters.
Am I?
Yeah.
Eric, you're such a kind-hearted person, and I make fun of you a lot, and I was trying to
Listen
hold
to
back.
our government.
I wish what you were saying was true. I
is true.
wish it were true.
It is true.
I wish Democrats could be bipartisan. I wish they could come out and think and say, oh, well, we don't want to be shut down, so we're going to be nice to everybody. But that's not them. That's a regime. They took that office by storm. They staged a coup to come into place. They are never
So
never
the
going to
truth
play
is
fair.
somewhere between myself and Tabitha, apparently.
Yeah, it sits with me.
Look at that. You're seeing in the right position.
Democrats are never, ever going to give us any leeway because we are their enemy. They see us as
Wow.
their opposition and their
doesn't
enemy.
it
But maybe,
suck?
but and it's funny because not all Democrats.
Not
you're talking
all.
about.
I'm
You're
talking about the ones
talking
that
about
make the
elected
rules.
ones
I'm
in
talking about-
Washington.
that's
It
correct.
sucks.
Not the people on the ground.
Because we
It's-
all have friends who are Democrats.
I have liberal friends. I have
Yes.
Democrat
Family
friends.
members.
I don't have any progressive
doesn't have any,
liberal
but
friends.
It sucks that on camera you will see Republicans and Democrats saying the most vile things about each other, and the president of the United States saying the most vile things about American citizens.
He can be an angry man, by
But
the way.
holy crap,
Angry man.
but they can, man, it's like they say worse things about each other than they do about our mortal enemies, to where the Chinese are like, hey guys, we're over here. Did you forget about us? We're your enemies for real. But but in the Democrats' mind, the Republicans are the enemy of the earth. And the other way
yes.
around as well.
Do you remember?
They hate each other.
Do you-
Hate.
Of course they hate each other.
No, it shouldn't be, of course. It should be like, yeah, it's a shame they hate each other. But it should not be, of course they hate each other.
Aaron says, be careful, guys. Liberals really aren't your friends. They're only friends to your face.
Well, here's the way I see it. If they voted Democrat, then technically they are, while they might be our friends here, they're still helping the destruction of this country. If they voted Democrat, then they are the reason why we're in the situation.
So cut them off. You say cut them off.
No, I'm not saying that.
Cut off those damn liberals.
I'm not saying that because maybe we can impress upon them. But do you guys remember we did a show back on the Edge when we were all together back then, and we read off a list of statements from various folks. Some of them were in the news, some of them in the media, some of them were government folks, where they said they hate us so much. They wanted to wipe the world. They literally said they want to cleanse the world of conservatives. They wanted to put us up in a line, a firing squad
Who's
line.
they?
I don't remember who the names were. I'll have to look them back up. But I can't believe you don't remember this. We talked about it on the Edge.
I
And
remember the story, but I'm trying to remember who said. I thought it was.
the
I thought it was
director of
one
NBC.
person.
No, we read off. It was me actually that read them off. There was like 6 or 7 different quotes.
It wasn't a politician who said that.
There were politicians who said it.
I remember somebody.
I'm
going to
look them up again. I'm going to look them up
Let me ask
again.
you this: Would you
A whole
like?
list
Would
of
you
them. They
like
wanna
a
kill us.
Would you like a? God, would you like a scenario? Would you like a scenario where politics we just kind of got back to normal? Would you like that?
What's normal? There's never been normal in politics.
I don't even know when normal was, but would you like it if people just could get
What
along?
is normal?
I don't know. I'm just
I don't
saying.
either.
No, it's not this. That's for sure.
Let me ask you this
They
question.
have too much power to be normal.
They have too much power to be normal. That's correct. And most of them are all in for the power and not for us. Do you, either of you or the three of you, agree that there are some Democrats out there, some progressive liberals, who literally want to kill us? They want us to be dead. Do you or don't you agree?
I feel like wow. No, I don't agree with that.
Even
I'm
though
sure there's
they've
nutty
said
I'm
it.
going to
people.
say that no right now.
Then
I'm sure there's
tomorrow,
nutty people.
When
out
I come
there.
in tomorrow, I'm going to show you some statements of people
No,
who
not
want
people.
us dead.
No, not people, politicians.
I will
I told
find-
you I did not know or remember who the politicians are that said they wanted to wipe the world clean of us.
And I'm not asking about are there politicians that want to kill us? I'm saying, are there Democrats?
Oh, yeah,
Are there liberals?
There's Republicans who
that
want
want to
liberals
kill
off the.
us?
Yeah, there's Republicans that want that with liberals too.
I'm going to find
My
some
question was when you said,
statements-
Vic, don't you remember just about 2 minutes ago? I said, I remember it being stated, but I don't remember politicians saying that. You said, well,
I'm
I'm
gonna
going to
look.
find.
I don't remember who made those statements, but I have
I'd be
them
shocked if
somewhere.
it was. No, I'd be shocked if there were politicians who said that. I know state-run media keeps things quiet, but not that. No way.
I am going to look those statements up because I can guarantee you if they could wipe us off the face of the earth, they would do it tomorrow.
Damn, Tabitha.
It is what it is.
Sometimes you just gotta let it lay there.
Today, if we came to our first quiet moment in like almost 2 hours of
Yes.
talk.
This is Tabitha's brain late at night when she's going to bed. By the way.
No, she has a hit list.
No, I don't.
Like from Billy Madison.
I'm
I
not.
remember maybe she's writing her list down and if somebody's nice to her.
No.
She'll be like,
when she's making
"Oh."
her MREs at night.
Yeah.
I am not a progressive liberal. I want peace and happiness, and I want prosperity for all
Be the
Americans.
world that you
all
want.
of
You
them.
just got to
Be
kill
the
a few
world.
people to get there, is what she
I
said.
know. I am not kidding
Be
you.
the
I
light.
wish
Be the
I
light.
want good for everyone.
Don't be a
even
black hole. Be a
the
light.
progressive liberals,
Yes.
but they want to kill us, and that's what it's all about.
cares what they
Joylene
want?
says, yes, they're libtard Democrats who have said that. Maxine Waters.
Oh yes, she did. That's
does
right.
Maxine,
I forgot.
does she even
Oh,
count?
she counts. She was elected.
She might be the meanest politician I have
She
ever seen,
counts.
heard, watched. Laura says she has a list of people.
I don't have one yet, but maybe I'll make one.
Vaccine Waters hates conservatives. The truth isn't always sunshine and rainbows, Eric.
I know.
Very rarely
But
is
look,
it.
you have one life. Listen, people. I know this is a lot of fun talking politics. You have one life. It's not that long. Go out and get some sunshine. Just
There we go.
go out and see a show.
With
Look, go
China's
get that
big-
bottle of
We're,
tequila.
we're all going to go see Modern Day Zero this
Yeah.
month, and we're going to have fun. And just it's not all about doom and gloom out there.
Do you have the bottle of tequila in your car?
You
know what?
do.
I still have Woodford Reserve in my car.
Yeah. It's only Wednesday though.
Yeah, I
Keep
know.
that
I
in
gotta be
mind.
careful. I've got meetings today too.
Yeah.
Damn, that whole work thing getting in the mix. Drew Collins says Maxine never said kill anyone. That's a total lie. We'll find out, Drew.
Oh no, she definitely said
We'll
to go out
find
and
out.
create violence.
Tabitha's homework tonight is to find out about what's going on
That's right.
with that. By the way, Tabitha, you told us about all these guests we were going to have last week. Do we have anybody set up for tomorrow?
I don't remember. I'll have to think about
Look,
that.
our voice is great and all, but I can't wait for the kid coming up in the 9 o'clock hour. I just cannot wait.
Max Kostelac.
I
he's
can't
gonna
wait.
Be here. He's a
What day
21-year-old.
is tomorrow?
Tomorrow's Thursday.
Okay, then I believe we have William Ben Brown, former U.S. Navy SEAL.
You believe?
I'm quite certain we do.
What time?
I didn't even know what day today was. So I'll have
Tabitha,
to
come on.
refresh. Hey, I got
Today is one of
important
those
things on
days.
my mind.
You
I'm
don't-
still waiting for our damn farmer. Where the hell is our farmer to talk about supply?
Yeah.
I think we scared him with the weedium.
Oh my God. How can you scare him with a weedy? I think
Oh my
She's really
God.
scary.
today, Tabitha Hassel is not to be trifled with. That's for sure. If she gives you a look, just back down.
Okay,
Good
so
advice, Eric.
who is this a former Navy SEAL?
Yeah, former Navy SEAL Ben Brown.
Is he the guy that went and got
William
Bin Laden?
Brown. I'll tell you what, look him up. He put up a good fight against former Governor Chris Christie. He's fantastic. Some of the things that he has done, he's part of SEAL Team 8, which is one of the highest level SEAL teams that this country has ever seen.
Oh, absolutely.
Can't wait to talk to him.
Okay, but where are we at? You know what? I think it's a good time. Let's take a break. I think we should take a break. We're going to come back with Max Kostelac. Don't want to miss a 21-year-old conservative podcaster from Ole Miss. Can't wait to dive in. Eric, you've been talking about bringing in younger people.
Yeah, because we're old. We this is the way the world
I'm
used
losing
to
my
be.
I'm losing my eyesight. So I guess I am getting old.
Oh, dude, just embrace your oldness.
Unless Tabitha
Embrace it. Just look forward to
unless
being
Tabitha roofied me.
just look forward
Maybe.
to being the wise old owl with the glasses.
Woo, woo.
I roofied Vic to turn him into a diehard conservative.
This is Gen Z's world. We're just living in it, Tabitha.
Exactly. It is cancelthisshow.com. Hey, share the show if you like what we're doing, especially now. Go to our website, canceltheshow.com, pick your viewing platforms. If you're not signed up on one of the platforms and you want to help us do so, even if you have your favorites to watch on, it helps all over the places. We're on several platforms. Like, subscribe, comment everywhere, continue to share the show. That's the best and biggest thing you can do.
Yeah, what did Skip Bayless do? Sorry.
Also,
I brain went nuts
No,
there for a
that's-
second.
Also, go to cancelthisshow.com/donate if you'd like to help out what we're doing with this cause here for free speech. What's going on, buddy?
What is Skip Bayless? What happened with Skip
Oh
Bayless?
my God, did he have a heart attack too?
No,
No, someone said he's
trying to
being
cancel
canceled.
him.
Okay, well, we'll talk about it coming up after this.
call
We're going to
his
get
ass
out of
up.
break. Back with our young podcaster to talk about conservatism and what kids think. Back with more right after this. Hey guys, welcome back to Cancel This. Vic Faust with Tabitha Hassel, Eric Johnson, and Scott Gherkin. CancelThisShow.com. Of course, you can check out all of our original programming there, original content as always. Thanks for making the show as great as it has been. 17,000 views the other day, 6,000 plus views, almost 7,000 yesterday for a brand new show. We are excited about it. Getting ready to start marketing national as well. It's all because of you guys, as you know. But share the show whenever you can. That's how we continue to get that word out in regards to what we're doing. We're having a blast. Eric and I taking our medicine from Tabitha day after day.
I know. Well, it's just
And
As
her,
you should.
and
bitch
her
slap after
minions.
bitch slap.
And her minions.
Let's hope Max does better. I think Max is a true conservative. We're gonna find out, aren't we, Max?
No, the great thing about this,
Indeed we will.
the great thing about the show, because we do what we want. That's the best part about this. We're bringing the best content that we possibly can do. Eric's been asking for quite some time. We got to have younger people in. We've got to talk and get a vibe, because Eric, how old is your son and his girlfriend?
My son is 20. He's in his mid 20s. His girlfriend is in his early 20s. Gen Z, millennial. My girlfriend would call me a baby boomer, but I'm not. I'm Gen X.
Baby.
I'm X. He's X. I think she's a boomer. Are you a boomer or are you X?
I'm younger than you, mister.
Okay, whatever.
So we have Max Kostelac in. I learned about Max and friends know his father, know the family. I found out that Max has a conservative podcast.
Yeah.
Which is so cool. We already know what the wave and the future is of broadcasting and putting information out. It's podcasting, live or taped, and Max does some conservative programming.
Yeah. So our
at Ole Miss, or not
At?
at Ole Miss, but he goes to school at Ole Miss. He's a junior at Ole Miss.
before we start,
Welcome into the show, Max.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate you guys.
we're old. You're young. The
Mhm.
conservative movement is old, right?
Yeah.
You're young.
It is?
It is.
I'll shut
Well,
up.
I think, we got a lot-
Liberals, not liberals, but for the most part, your generation follows a more liberal mindset. Would you
Mhm.
agree with that?
I would agree with that. Yeah.
And for conservative values to come back to this country, it's going to be your generation's age to somehow figure out how to market that message back to them. So at least it's not just an ass kicking in every single election. Would you agree with that?
Exactly. Yeah.
So how is that going right now? And what would you say the nature of conservatism is in the Gen Z group or the millennial group?
Yeah. Well, I go to school down in the South, so there's a lot of people, my age that, their views align with mine. So there's not really much kickback on campus where I go to school, but I think that we're moving in the right direction. We need more people not afraid to come out and, speak their opinion on things.
Damn, you're very well spoken for a 21-year-old on a live show.
20 years old.
20 years
damn,
old.
went backwards.
When I was
He's
20,
Gen-
I couldn't speak like that. That's for sure.
He's
My
Gen
God.
Alpha. He's the next
The
gen.
true test. The true test. The true test.
Yes. Oh, watch out now.
She's
She's
about
on a
ready to
roll.
put you on the spot already, Max.
It's like your mom
Max.
about ready to talk to
There's
you.
no wrong answer. We're going to support you either way.
All right.
No wrong answer.
Oh,
And
don't-
be careful. Max's
I know.
girlfriend's in studio with us.
I
too.
don't want to get any girl fights. So Max, you know what's going on with the House vote, the speaker vote, right?
Uh-huh.
Wow, I'm impressed.
Well,
Well, I'm
What-
not. I would expect Max to know this.
Okay.
Max, which side would you be on if you were a member of the House?
And she went right
Would
after.
you be one of the 19 and 20 that held out and did not vote for McCarthy? Or would you say the unity of the party is more important and you would vote with McCarthy either way? Or there is a third option. Are you all about McCarthy and he would have been the first person you chose?
But we got to make sure he knows what's going
I
on.
want to
with
be
it.
honest. I'm not really too aware. I thought we were talking about something else, but
No, we weren't.
Good.
We didn't warn you about McCarthy. That's getting
No.
pretty.
Yeah.
A lot of Republicans have no idea what's going on with the House vote.
Well, yesterday they're trying to elect the new House Speaker now that Pelosi's out of the
Okay.
picture.
okay.
And Republicans, the majority of Republicans are attempting to elect Kevin McCarthy,
Mhm,
to be Speaker of the House.
mhm.
There were originally 19 Republicans, most of them members of the Freedom Caucus, ran by Jim Jordan, who are holdouts. And they said, we are not going to vote for Kevin McCarthy because he does not represent our values. And
Okay.
they held out. They did 4 or 5 votes last night. Each one ended up being the same. and because he has to have 218 votes in order to be elected the speaker. So I was just curious if you're going to be if you're one of those folks who's anti-establishment and you're going to fight
Look at
to
how
the
she's
death.
leading you.
I feel
Don't
bad.
take the
I
bait,
didn't
man.
tell Max. I said, Mac, we're going to talk about your age and groups and
Oh, I'm trying to figure out where young folks stand.
You are going so far in the political weeds
Okay,
right now.
Then I'm going to backtrack. Max, are young people your age more establishment or more anti-establishment?
I think a lot of people my age are anti-establishment, depending on how they look at it, even left or right. I think,
True story.
that is interesting.
So who
we're going to teach you about Kevin McCarthy.
No, we're not.
And
Don't worry about Kevin McCarthy.
I'm
For
going to
real.
teach
Don't
him,
worry
not
about
you two rhinos.
we're here to learn from them. They're not here to learn
Exactly.
from us.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. You're conservative. Politics is conservative versus liberalism. Who are the guys, who are the girls and the guys in the party that excite you right now? Who are the ones you're like, man, I got to get behind this
With
person?
DeSantis in Florida.
Okay.
I like him.
Of course.
Excellent.
I mean, Trump.
Yeah.
I'm
Excellent.
gonna be
Yeah.
honest with y'all.
Okay.
I did like Mike Pence, but that's another story.
See?
Yeah.
I did too
But,
originally.
yeah, and he spoke well, and I felt like he was, a good yin and yang for Trump,
Yeah.
and Trump,
Yeah.
he's crazy, and Mike Pence understands
Yeah.
the political. Well, I mean, he talks crazy sometimes, but I like
Yeah.
Trump.
Well, with your podcast, what's the name of your podcast and what do you talk about?
Locker room talk. We talk sports, politics. I mean, anything.
Well, what sports you're talking? Ole Miss stuff, right? Ole Miss versus
Ole Miss.
Bama.
I just had an Olympic swimmer on.
Yeah.
From Albania. So I mean, a whole bunch of sports.
Nice.
I'm just trying to learn.
Nice.
From
What about
all
with
aspects.
politics? What would you, because I wouldn't have ever imagined or even thought about doing something political related, even for, I mean, I know podcasts weren't around when I was in college, but why is it that you wanted to talk politics and what kind of subjects are you talking
Yeah.
at the age of 20?
Well, it interested me from when I started listening to Owen Schroyer. I don't know if you're aware of Owen Schroyer, but he works for InfoWars. He's a Mizzou grad.
We
Oh,
just
yeah.
talked about him the other day.
We were talking about having him on the show.
Yeah, I was about to, tell you guys should have him on the show for sure. But he definitely inspired me. Listening to him when I was younger, going out on the streets and just interviewing people and just asking them simple questions about politics. And it really shows you how, the liberals these days, they don't really know what they're, protesting for when they go out. You know what I mean? So I thought that was interesting. I want to do my own thing, kind of around like that.
Yeah.
And that's how the podcast started for me.
It's
That's
awesome.
interesting that it was from InfoWars.
Oh, yeah.
It just goes to show how people can, be inspired
Mhm.
by
No
seeing
question.
others that go out, because Owen has certainly made a name for
Oh,
himself
yeah. Super
going out in
smart
the
guy.
streets. And that's not easy.
Mm-hmm.
That is not easy going out
Not at all.
and facing, quote, the enemy
Yeah.
on the battle lines in the middle of the streets.
Mm-hmm. And he'll go out to the women's marches, just by himself and start talking about pro-life. And I mean, that's almost suicide jumping in that,
It is,
March.
but you do.
Oh, interesting.
Boom, we're getting him, Scott.
Well, we've already been talking with Alex about bringing him on the show, and he has interest.
yeah. So
Wow.
for people like my age, it's about taxes, conservative nature
Yeah.
of taxes,
Mm-hmm.
smaller government, more
Mhm.
freedom for the individual.
Exactly.
For a Gen Z, what is the thing that interests you the most? Is it pop culture, politics, kind of like the abortion, the LGBTQ stuff? What is it that interests you in conservative politics?
Gun rights.
Gun rights.
Abortion. I've attended the March for Life in Washington D.C.
That's
so
really cool.
I'm really, I have strong
Two
views
of my
about that.
two of my kids also attended the March for Life as
Yeah,
well.
that's an awesome march. I mean, those are the two big things.
Right.
I'm interested in pop culture too.
Yeah.
I like listening to some of the music.
Yeah.
I want to be honest with you, but some of the stuff I don't think is too good for the youth.
Yeah.
Always listening to shooting people
Yeah.
and all.
It desensitizes them,
yeah,
doesn't it?
exactly. And
It makes people
it
want to
normal.
shoot people for real
Yeah.
when you play those games
Yeah,
24 hours
yeah,
a day.
yeah,
Well,
exactly.
gun rights are very important. What about election fraud? Is that something that you ever discuss on your podcast? Do you believe that election fraud has occurred? Or do
yes.
young people believe election fraud
I
occurs?
mean, it's obvious, with the Biden and Trump, I don't know the exact, the exact, I don't know how to forget it. But there, I was trying to talk about how, in the middle of the night, uh, with the skyrocket like 200,000 votes or something like that. Like
Yeah.
no one talks
Hundreds
about
of
that.
thousands of votes.
When the
Yeah.
pipes broke.
Yeah, pipes breaking, and they got to shut down counting, and
They've shut down. They've done that a few times
Yeah,
now. They
and-
did that in the last election in Arizona. Remember when they did that?
But when was the last time that happened before that? That's never happened.
Never.
That's the first time in United States history that's happened, and no one wants to talk about it. They just want to sweep it under the rug. I think it's ridiculous.
It is. It is ridiculous. What is it going to take? Again, this is your opinion only, and my son has an opinion. Every Gen Zer has an opinion. What is it going to take for the conservative voice in the younger generation to beat back the liberal voice in the younger generation? Because right now, I'll be honest with you, the younger generation has pop culture behind them. They have everybody in Hollywood if you're a conservative, you're demonized. It's like, oh my God, I can't believe you're actually a conservative. That's ridiculous. What is it going to take for the conservatives to beat back liberalism going forward?
Yeah, well, like I said earlier, just not being afraid to, say your opinion. In California, they have the most Republicans out of any other state.
Young Republicans?
Republicans in general, you can look it up. There's just more, Democrats, and so obviously they go blue, but there's more Republicans in California than any other state. So I feel like they need to, represent themselves a little bit more and speak out and, call out the BS from the other side.
Right. Does your generation understand the damage that this country is under now with the debt that you guys are going to have to deal with?
I don't think they understand it right now.
You don't think they understand that?
The majority probably don't.
I don't think they do.
Do you and your friends ever talk about a revolution or how things are going to change? Because some of us, me, I feel like we have a long way to go. And I don't think it's going to be easy. And I think if it's going to get to the point where we're going to have to literally fight, maybe not with violence, but we're going to have to fight to bring freedom back to this country because of election fraud. How can we ever get ahead if we don't stand up and fight? I'm just curious if you ever hear young people talk about that or if they think about things in more peaceful means.
No, I think, there's definitely revolution talk, and
so you guys are going to be fighting with me when we start.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good. Because Eric and Vic won't be.
Red Dawn, Red Dawn on its way. Seriously.
Max, when you're I'm already blown away by your willingness to talk publicly about who you are and what you are. Then a lot of kids still try to find their way and are afraid to maybe upset others. I'm sure you're not in people's face, but this is something that you're doing for yourself. I know for a fact, my sophomore daughter, when she was in high school, of a group of about 11 girls, 8 of them were like, you have to view our point the way we do, or we can't be friends. And this is when the last presidential election were going on. My daughter and a couple of her friends like, wait a second, well, let's just listen to everybody when it comes to the election. And that friend group ended up breaking up. 11 of them went one way. The other 3 who were conservative went the other way. Then when my daughter went to Mizzou, she found it in her sorority. How could you ever, ever, ever consider to be conservative? Are you kidding me? They hate people like us. And she started to hear some of the messaging and she started to get pulled that direction. She's like, Dad, I just don't want to fight. I don't want to argue. And before too long, you start to not be the person who you were because you just want to get along with everybody. And it can become difficult, especially if you're a person that doesn't want conflict.
Yeah.
Do you see issues like that? I know you're at school at Ole Miss and you have friends elsewhere, but do you ever notice situations like that where people are afraid to show maybe who they are?
Yeah,
I mean, because it's still a young age. I know everything else is on your mind at school. It's parties, it's having fun, but still at the end of the day.
And I think that's why a lot of people, they don't want to come out because they still want all their friends, you know what I mean? And I think they're afraid to talk about what they really feel because they don't want to lose their friends. And I think it's, it's immature. And, back in the day, they used to, if you asked someone who they voted for, it was just, it's kind of rude to ask. But these days, it's like everyone knows, you know what I mean? Everyone knows, or they expect to know who you voted for and what you stand
it wasn't like that
and
when I was young. When I was your age, I had no idea. Well, I didn't even have a political view, and I don't think any of my friends did. Someone on the comment line asked about the indoctrination we hear so often in colleges and universities. Do you feel like that's really happening? Are you experiencing that at all?
Well,
Or maybe
my
not at Ole Miss?
well, a little bit at Ole Miss because our chancellor's Democrat and the mayor
How do you
of
know
our
your
town-
chancellor's Democrat?
Well, because the mask mandates they had
Yeah.
my freshman year, and I mean, if you weren't, you couldn't even really come out of your dorm without no regulations. So that was a little ridiculous. Which we were the first campus. I don't know about the first, but we were one of the first to get rid of masks. But that was a lot of pushback from the people of the town. But yeah, I think there's indoctrination everywhere.
Can you talk about that? What do you see in your classes where you go, wait a minute, you guys got to knock that? What is some of the indoctrination you're going through right now?
If there is any outside of the mask, I mean, maybe from teachers, professors, are things said in class or things said around campus?
I think down there, it's a different story. I
Yeah.
don't really hear too much politically because, everyone kind of gets the gist of where everyone really stands down there.
So people should be sending their kids to Ole Miss.
Hey,
That's what I'm getting out of
It's
this.
a great school.
Oh yeah, it's a fun
I
place.
hate to say it, but yeah, for your undergrad, you need to keep that in mind.
People ask us all the time, what college can I send my kids to? Because where they're not going to
Not
be
Mizzou.
indoctrinated. Now
Definitely
we
not
know.
Mizzou.
Have you had any pushback from anybody that knew about the podcast that you were doing? Maybe younger people or
Oh yeah, all the time.
Really? What
Mhm.
is
all
what
of
is
my
that like?
all of my friends support it, you know what I mean? Obviously, but they always tell me they have people come up to them and like, "Oh, you hear about what Max said on his last podcast? He's this, that, and the third, name calling." And
Is it
I
because you're
really
talking? Is it just talking about being a conservative or?
yeah, being conservative, talking about gun policies, I'm like, well, I think everyone should have guns. Oh, you think everyone needs to get shot up in schools? Is that what you're saying? Like,
Wow.
Yeah, crazy stuff like that. And
Because they are crazy.
yeah, no, it's crazy.
It's-
But social issues, you probably see the same as them, don't you? I mean, the whole LGBTQ thing that came out of nowhere just recently. I mean, you're like, let people live their life. Who
Yeah,
cares?
do your thing. I'll do my thing. I don't really worry about other people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well,
I worry about myself and
Yeah.
the people around me that are close.
What about the whole BLM thing that came out of nowhere? The I guess
What's BLM?
Black Lives Matter.
What's
You know what it
BLM?
is. Yeah, you don't
Bureau
know.
of Land
What
Management?
BLM? What happened?
Are we
to
talking about the
BLM?
organization or the
Well,
Are
the
they
whole-
still around?
The way that they pressed your police station to defund themselves or whatever it was. Do you look at would you like to see police defunding themselves? And
absolutely not.
you would not. You want
No.
a safe community.
Yeah,
wouldn't you?
because what happens when
Is
people
that
get-
kind of is that a thing of the past? Kind of defund the police.
I think the young kids, they were saying it originally, and then time passed and they realized how dumb it really sounded.
Seriously,
And I think people are definitely backtracking on thinking they need to defund the police, at least people that I've talked to. But
so
yeah, but
everybody across the board, not just
I think it's
conservatives, but like even people who are super uber liberal, you're like, yeah, that was pretty dumb.
I think people on that side too,
Okay.
realize, because think about it. Someone in Mall of America in New York just got shot. Who do they call? Someone with guns. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like someone with guns to protect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I think it's ridiculous how they want to defund people that want to protect, our communities. And
Yeah.
I
I never understood that. I was like,
Yeah.
I go, why do you want to defund the cops? And
Mhm.
I think it was a nefarious reason for something. I don't know what it was going on there, but it's good to know that is kind of going away. That
Yeah.
that whole issue is gone.
Well, you just gotta keep pushing, keep talking about, the facts.
Yeah.
And
No,
Max, sorry. Do
no,
you have a question?
No, I
for
was just
me?
going to say we're talking with Max Kostelac, a 20-year-old conservative podcaster from Ole Miss.
I want to talk to you about socialism
Okay.
because I know there's.
How do you feel on the subject first?
I think
Yes.
a lot of young kids that are left leaning want it because
They
they want handouts from the government.
Sorry,
and-
Tabitha. I didn't know he was going to jump in like this.
Oh, sorry.
That's good.
No, and that's exactly what I want to hear because I feel like socialism amongst the young folks, people your age, it's where it's all starting. That's where it's rising, and it concerns me about the future because I do think there are so many young people who look up to people like AOC, and they really do want socialism. They
Mhm.
haven't been around long enough to know the history of socialism and
Mhm.
what socialism really means to this
Mhm.
country. I'm just curious what your thoughts are.
Yeah, I think it all stems from, laziness too. People want handouts, people want free school, free medical care, free all this. And that's in make believe land. You know what I mean? That's
Nothing's free.
yeah, nothing's free. And I mean, once they get that through their head, they can,
Because as you
realize.
get older, and I'm sure you probably work now, but as you get older, you being a conservative, you're going to be out working because you're not going to be part of socialism. You're not going to be
Exactly.
waiting for that handout. So you're going to be working, and your tax dollars are going to be paying for their free tuition, their free healthcare, their free everything, their free rent, their UBI payments.
Mhm.
And I hope that you, with your podcast, you can wake people up.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And
You're very popular on our podcast. I can tell you that right now. You don't
That's
have the
awesome.
computer screen in front of you, but number one, for you being able to come on here, having the courage to do it. Number two, speaking how you speak. And then number three, of course, you're with a lot of like-minded individuals on the podcast. On following up with what Tabitha was talking about, you have to work, don't you? You've had jobs, right?
Oh, yeah. I've been working since 14, 15 years old. I've been, working in different industries. But back to the tax dollar thing, we're paying for people to come over illegally.
Oh, that's a great point.
And our tax dollars are going straight to them and for their medical care. And
That's got to piss you guys off.
oh, yeah.
Yeah, they get free tuition, free healthcare, free housing, food allowances, a cash stipend.
Mhm.
They're getting plane tickets to wherever they want to go.
Mhm.
It's absolutely insane. And I hope more young people like you wake up, because ultimately it's your generation that's going to pay the price.
You know what?
Mhm.
You need to tell your liberal buddies that if they continue forward, the U.S. debt right now is so high, they're going to all owe by the time they get out of college and get their own homes. They're going to have to pay $250,000 back to the government just to get us back to zero, just to get their country for their kids. Their kids, the way we're going right now, think about this. Your kids are going to probably have to owe close to $1 million in earnings.
I can't even comprehend that.
Think about that. Not a house with a pool in the backyard. You're going to literally have to pay the government so that they can pay more illegal immigrants to go to our schools. Now I don't want to sound too crass, because that sounds crass, but there's got to be a line where someone who's liberal goes, yeah, I kind of don't want that.
Yeah.
And then you think that might be the thing that switches their mind? I mean, what is it that's going to really make them go, so you mean to tell me if I vote for a Democrat, I'm going to need to pay $1 million in taxes?
I think they'll realize, once we're far off the cliff, honestly.
So
You
the
know what I mean?
country's gone at that
Sometimes
point.
it happens
Yeah.
that way, unfortunately.
And that's when Tabitha's revolution starts.
Because it doesn't matter. They just want to be right. No matter if they are wrong, they're going to push it. They don't want to admit they're wrong.
That was the next
Yeah.
question I was going to ask you. Have you ever had anybody on or had discussions? I think it'd be great for your podcast in regards to what Tabitha and others on the line who really respect what you're doing, having conversations with people who aren't like-minded on your podcast and trying to do it in a civil manner if people stay civil.
Mhm.
That's one text that I got. Encourage Max to have people on his podcast that may not agree with him so that people can be educated and get comments out there. Two, have you had these conversations with people?
I mean,
Maybe who aren't like-minded?
I've definitely had, smaller debates with my friends on the podcast about certain things. I've never had anyone that totally disagrees with me on everything on the podcast, which, that's a good idea. I probably should start doing that.
It would be very lively. I can guarantee you that.
It would be interesting.
Well, Max, what about the military? I'm very concerned about our United States military because I don't overwhelmingly see young people wanting to join the military.
Mhm. Yeah,
It's,
no.
it's very, they're having such problems recruiting people that they keep relaxing the standards. And I don't, if young people don't start joining the military, I think that they're going to go to drastic efforts to get people in.
Yeah, and I think it goes back to, the quote. I don't know who says it, but it's hard times make strong men.
You got
Strong
it.
men
Yeah.
make easy times. Easy times make strong men. It's a big loop.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
I think we're in the time where we're in easy times and it's making, soft men.
Yeah.
So I don't think anyone
very
really wants.
soft men.
Yeah, I don't think people really want to go to war right now, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And I think it eventually will come to a draft.
Yeah, because speaking of, and I'm sorry, I know you guys have a bazillion questions.
No,
I'm
I'm
not
good.
gonna,
This is great.
I'm curious. Would you go to war to fight Russia over Ukraine?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think that's a nuclear battle. I think that's, you know,
That's
end
the
of the
correct
world
answer,
right
by the
there.
way. That's the correct answer, by the way. It was a trick question. You got
It's
it
not
right.
a trick question.
That's a pretty. Those you're.
Yeah,
that's
that's
a pretty-
geopolitical stuff right there.
I
that
didn't
a
mean
lot
it
of
as a trick
experts don't
question.
even know.
That's
the
a
answer.
Well, who
98
think-
mile an
who-
hour fastball up and in.
Yeah.
I didn't even see
That's-
it that
Well,
way.
who thinks we need to go to war with Russia? Well,
No, nobody thinks that at all.
Yeah,
Nobody
there's
thinks
no there's no right
there's
or
no
wrong
appetite
answer.
for war anymore. There really isn't. But you definitely need to be able to protect your own borders.
But we could,
for sure.
but we could have potentially. They're actually discussing a draft because we already technically are at war with Russia, and now that we're getting our boots ready to go on the ground, they potentially could draft
well,
you.
let's start here. So yeah, the military is one thing. What do you think about this generation not wanting to actually work any job at all? That the workforce is down 11 million people. Or I'm sorry,
That's a great question. If he sees that,
yeah. Do you see the fact that there's 11 million jobs in this country right now? There's 7 million men that have dropped out of the workforce, which leaves a deficit of 18 million placements that cannot be filled right now.
Well, you go into Walmart and they got what 11 of those, cashier spots, and there's only 2 people working.
Exactly.
So
drives me crazy at the grocery
so,
store.
Yeah, you even just go to Walmart and you can see. I mean, nobody's working right now.
But
Everyone's
isn't
taking
that
advantage.
is that this generation? Man, we're old. Our generation.
You've already said that twice.
We were looking at every job we could get our hands on. We were putting that applications in 20 places to get one job. You guys could literally put one application in a high-paying job, and you're not taking them. Hell, I mean, do you see that as a problem right now?
that's a problem.
And then where did that come from for real? I have always wondered. Is it because
I think it's laziness?
because that you think the government gives you guys money, because mom and dad are letting you stay in the basement? How do you even exist in this world not having a job?
I mean, I grew up through, COVID, obviously, and, coming up, they were giving out, the $2,000 paychecks, or the stimulus checks and stuff. So when they're growing up, getting the stimulus, they don't want to work after that. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
that's what I think.
But Max, you have certain values, and obviously conservative values at that. Would you credit that with parents and the upbringing you had?
Oh, yeah,
or how did that come about? Because I do see and know lots of families. I've talked to the parents whose kids haven't listened to them, and they've wondered, well, maybe I should have done this differently or that differently, where they're not following maybe what their parents taught them or how their parents' ideals are when it comes to politics.
Yeah, I think you are the product of your parents most of the time, and I mean, that's what I think.
You're right about that.
Yeah.
The people who are going to.
So you think that you've become more conservative because of your parents?
Most of the time, but there are, like you said, there are people that they're anti-establishment, even in their own household. They don't want to. Oh, you're. My dad's conservative. He's crazy. You know what I mean? I hear that all the time from girls.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
What about guys?
I mean, my buddies, no, not really.
Yeah.
Because
have you ever been to Lake of the Ozarks before?
Oh yeah.
It's a place where they have Trump flags flying and they have people driving American.
You probably
flags
feel
all
at
over
home
the
there,
place.
don't you?
Oh yeah.
Have you ever been there? You have. It's the kind of place where it's like
Eric was talking to Max's girlfriend in the studio.
It's kind of
who's from Houston, Texas, by the way.
That's right. The great.
Welcome
state
to
of
the lovely
Texas.
St. Louis Strategic Air Studio.
Yeah. It's a place where I've never understood the kind of world that the young Gen Z want to build for themselves. I've never understood that. Have you ever talked to your friends that are totally on the other side of the fence and said, "What are you guys trying to build here? What do you want this place to be?"
I don't think they know, really. I think they're just following a trend. They see Hollywood push, the left leaning, viewpoints, and they're into pop culture, which, I am too, but I know how to differentiate, between the two. But I think it's just trends. I think they just want to be trendy. They want to do, stuff for TikTok likes, which I think TikTok is, awful. That needs to be banned.
Speaking of
But-
trends,
Wow,
what-
that's
massive.
it is. That
Because
is
that's
Wanna
amazing.
ban
that's
TikTok?
Eric's favorite social media
Well,
platform.
no, he's right. It's like it's.
and
I'm
it's good for advertising your product or whatever. But I think China, obviously China created it. I think it's an attack.
you
on our
guys are
little
going to have
kids.
to. You guys are going to have to be the ones that rise up and say we can't have this in the country
Mhm.
anymore. It can't be old people.
Well, it's killing kids' attention spans. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? They 10-second swipe, 10-second swipe. They can't pay attention longer than 10 seconds.
And that's going to be your
Which is a
kids.
shame.
Think about it, man.
Damn, you're an old soul for a 20-year-old man.
Yeah.
It's refreshing, that's for sure.
uh-huh.
Yeah,
Max, what about
appreciate it.
drugs?
What about
What
drugs?
about
He's like, you got some?
What about 'em?
What about it?
I feel
Tab,
like
if you need some.
I feel like drugs have really infiltrated, the young people. I have several friends. It's sad to say, I have several friends who have lost children to drugs.
Mhm.
It's so wild to me. We have several listeners who have lost children to drugs. Is it as bad as I feel like it is? I feel like there's less people who would never do a drug than there are people who do drugs. Does that make sense?
What
Yeah.
kind of drugs though?
I'm talking about heroin, or I don't even know what fentanyl is a
I was
big one
about to
right
say
now.
fentanyl is a huge,
Fentanyl's huge.
problem right now.
It is, and I mean, is it as bad as I think it is?
It's horrible. I mean, I'm not surprised. After last semester, we had 2 or 3 kids overdose just on campus from fentanyl.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it's a big problem for sure, and I see it firsthand.
And for new listeners, he is a student, Max is a student at Ole Miss University.
Yeah, so
It just feels to me like I feel like there are less kids that abstain from drugs than there are kids that do drugs. It's unbelievable to me that my friends have lost children. Numerous friends have lost children to heroin, to fentanyl, to all these different things. And I feel like it's just so rampant. It terrifies me because I keep thinking these young people who are so hooked on fentanyl and all these other drugs, they're growing up.
And
Most of them
and
may
some-
not.
and some of the time they're not hooked on fentanyl. It's just a one-time thing. and
Right.
it's laced.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And it just takes this much of fentanyl to kill
Mhm.
somebody.
Do you know any deaths that have happened because of it on campus?
They just said
Um,
3.
I'm
yeah,
sorry, I didn't hear.
Well,
that.
they-
three. I know someone personally that he didn't die, thank God, but he was in a coma for like a month.
Jeez.
You know what I mean? So
And that's the border. That's the
yeah,
border problem. right
absolutely,
there.
yeah.
So it's like tying these situations together.
Mm-hmm.
Is that do you feel that because of the Biden, and I have to say it, Joe Biden's border,
Mm-hmm.
do you feel like because of his border that fentanyl poisoning happened? It's a complete equation to the two.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I've seen more fentanyl deaths since then.
Yeah.
Just on campus. I can't,
What are the drugs of choice on campus?
just like the basic.
Well, it's got to be marijuana now, isn't it? I mean,
weed, cocaine.
Yeah, I
no,
mean-
no heroin or nothing.
Eric-
like
Heroin's a
that,
thing of the past.
but
Wow.
well, Eric, that's at any college campus. I mean,
Yeah.
my daughter told me about cocaine, but now with marijuana, and you guys are of age now, we're coming to that age. I mean, with marijuana being recreational being legalized in the state
not
of
in
Missouri.
Mississippi.
It's not in Mississippi.
Not
huh?
that's a big no in Mississippi.
Yeah, I could imagine. Missouri it is.
Yeah.
But
that's probably the
marijuana
norm now.
gummies.
When I was a kid, very few people got high. Very few people.
Mhm.
It was so looked down upon. We knew we had a term for them. I can't remember what it was, but burnouts. We called them burnouts. But now it seems like it's so common. It's so normal that almost
Mhm.
everyone does it.
Do more kids take do you use marijuana than drinking alcohol these days?
Nah, it's a lot more drinking than
Okay.
marijuana.
He's in
Somebody
college,
asked that
come
from the
on.
question. Well, somebody was asking from the question line where all that was going and how they felt from that standpoint. So
What about religion? Are you guys we were talking on this show the other day about churches kind of closing up, becoming
Mhm.
ghost towns, if you
Mhm.
will. Do you see is there a revival in people your age in religion, or it's not an important thing anymore?
I don't think it's an important thing, and it's unfortunate to say, but I don't think a lot of people, look to a God anymore. And,
Wow.
I do. I know she does, and
I love that. I respect that you talk about that publicly too. That's so
Yeah.
important.
Yeah, and I think our country right now is godless. You know what I mean? People, you can't even say Merry Christmas to people no more.
That's right. That's why we have all
Yeah.
these churches closing.
Yeah.
Even here in St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable.
Max says, I just want to make a statement because you have to go back and look at the comment line, and feel free to jump on our cancel this Facebook page if you can, because people are asking you questions and very interested too. I know the answer, but people say, Max, what about your parents? Are your parents still together? Because so many young people are raised in broken homes, it can affect their thinking on certain issues, and they're very impressed by you.
Yeah, no, my parents are together. I know a lot of people that don't have parents that are together, and it definitely affects them. And sometimes they act out or whatever. But I think people definitely need a father and a mother in the home. It's sad to see a lot of single mothers, and it's just natural. But I think that's a product of a lot of emotional. Kids growing up, acting emotional, no father figure in the home. Uh, that's my opinion on that.
What are some of the pop stars that are conservative your age that are singing? I mean, Pitbull's a big conservative guy.
Does that even matter?
But is it?
They don't even know who Pitbull is anymore.
You don't know who
I don't
Pitbull
even know
is?
who Pitbull is.
You don't know who Pitbull is?
Yeah, I know who Pitbull is.
Okay. But he's not popular anymore.
He's not?
Tell Eric who the popular
Please.
rappers are now, or
Here we
country
go.
music
Scotty,
stars.
start taking notes. Let's
Well,
go.
Depending
Travis
upon-
Scott, Drake.
Yeah.
Who?
Drake, Travis Scott.
Who?
He's messing with you.
No, I'm not messing with you. Do you know who Van Halen is? Have you heard
Eric
of Van
got cut
Halen?
off in
I've
the
heard of Van
80s.
Halen, yeah.
You heard of Van Halen?
Yeah.
David Lee Roth or Sammy, go. You don't even know what I'm talking about. That's fine. So that you guys need some pop stars they start getting on the that's what I keep hearing right now.
Yeah,
is
but when those guys do come out, like Kanye, and he's come out and say some crazy stuff.
Super crazy stuff.
Yeah, but before that, he was wearing the Trump hat, getting a lot of backlash.
Was he? Was he bringing
yeah.
anybody over because people liked Kanye? Were they like, if he likes Kanye, I like Kanye. I mean, a Trump, I like.
I think he definitely, I think that's what Trump wanted too.
Yes.
I think he was trying to, get more of that demographic over, and I think he did a good job with that. But yeah, that's the only.
Who's the biggest social influencer right now on TikTok or Facebook?
Oh,
or
that's a
whatever?
great question.
Who would you
Maybe
say?
for you guys or for others that you see are friends?
I don't know about TikTok, but greatest influence right
Like
now.
like Kim Kardashian. She would have been old school,
Oh,
I
good
guess.
gosh.
But who would be someone that took Kim Kardashian's place? Maybe that everybody kind of follows.
Kendall, her younger sister.
Yeah, I mean that whole family is.
You got a monopoly.
So if Kendall came out and said, "We're done with this garbage. We think we need to bring the country back into alignment because of religion, because of keeping people safe in communities," do you think that would move the needle a little bit?
I think it would be.
Do you think that maybe there should be a movement towards them to say, because they're run by money, maybe somebody needs to go pay them off and to become conservative? I'm just trying to figure out, because I don't think that there's a lot of elections to be won anymore by Republicans from this point forward. I don't,
yeah.
because you guys are going to be ones voting pretty soon here.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be your thing. We're going to be gone. So
Yeah.
you guys start
we-
thinking about that stuff right now.
Yeah, we definitely need someone to, come out and say something.
Yeah. And don't listen to Tabitha. There's not a revolution with guns. It's going to be a revolution. It's going to be a revolution of TikTok.
He's
and
way
Facebook.
ahead of me on the revolution.
I know. It's going to be social media. It's going to be the revolution. And like I told her, it's going to be a bunch. It's going to be a bunch of U-Hauls going all over the country where the people are more conservative.
Yeah.
So don't listen to her. Don't be afraid. There's not going to be any.
Max is on my side, Eric. Max and I would,
I think
and Lexi would get along very well. I can tell already.
I think we're closer to the revolution than we are.
Well, you would know.
We certainly are.
Yes.
We certainly are
So-
closer to
Yeah.
the revolution.
Okay.
Obviously, your girlfriend Lexi, you're like-minded in these areas, right? Okay.
Yeah, she's not giving him any dirty looks. I've
Well,
been watching her.
Lexi's she's a good old Texas girl.
Oh yeah.
From Houston.
Had to give me a Southern belle.
Yeah.
The reason I asked that, can you imagine if you two were different in some of these areas and how that would play out? Because I've been having this conversation with my son. Now, my middle son, he's a senior in high school. He is very patient, very, very, very patient. I don't know where that came from, but he is patient. Thank you, God. His girlfriend, who he's very, very serious with, is 100% against him and his political values and being more conservative. but she is the sweetest thing ever. And I'm like,
Is she?
yes. There's Tabitha, dark, destructive
Yeah.
Tabitha.
Stop.
I can't imagine how it works unless he's just sitting back, not saying anything all the time. Have you guys seen younger relationships where people are on opposite ends of the spectrum and how that goes?
Oh yeah, and I think you can make it work. I think there's a lot of people that don't make it work, but if you respect each other, you respect each other's opinion, and you can separate, just living your normal life and what you like, your beliefs and stuff.
Wait till
I
you're
think-
married for 10 years. That doesn't really work that way.
Hey, I'm still
Oh
learning.
my God, Tabitha!
I'm still learning.
Hey, that's the best answer. That is the best.
And you
Yeah.
two don't
Guess
have
what?
to worry about
Yeah, I
it.
don't want to act like I know everything.
I'm still
either.
learning as well.
Uh-huh,
Okay.
uh-huh.
Hey, Max, from the comment line, what type of career are you intending to get into?
Business. I want to, be my own boss one day.
Outstanding.
That's the only way
what business
in this
do you
country
want?
to make
what,
money.
What business? The world's your oyster. What would you like to do?
I'm thinking about, investing in real estate and,
Yeah.
turning into passive income.
Yep.
That's, one of my things I want to do.
A little
right out of
Airbnb
college.
action going on.
Yeah,
there?
he's got it down. I mean, he's got and don't give up on the podcaster influencer
Oh
side
yeah,
as
they'll-
well.
Yeah, they'll definitely always.
That's
be a
coming
part.
from the comment line as well, because it's not easy to come on a show like this and take questions from Tabitha.
I know.
Hey, now.
I'm just
She's
Max
messing
and
with
I are on the same side.
Yeah.
but because you are, I mean, I just couldn't have imagined speaking on these issues and walking into
Yeah.
the firefight, so to speak, at 20 and being
Uh-huh.
able to do as well as you've done. So a lot of people certainly think that you've done an outstanding job. And
Appreciate
you're
that.
very well spoken on a variety of issues. I told you we would just be kind of talking about where conservatism is with kids that are like 20, 21 in college. And we have fired everything at you on a variety. Hell, you
Everything,
just
literally.
you just turned into Dr. Phil too. You're offering relationship advice.
And don't let Tabitha scare you. She's
Yeah.
like the mom and mommy dearest. No wire hangers. Just-
Oh my goodness. Max and I, like I said, we are on the same side because you know what? I think and Max, you'll have to come in again if you're able to, or call in or video link in.
Uh-huh.
Well,
Because
he
what-
may be our intern.
even better.
When we get
Even
him around
better.
here, he'll be our intern. We'll use him.
What Max
I
said
want to
was
join
so
you. Have
important.
you join live from Ole Miss?
Yeah, you're
Why
why
not
not
turn-
when Owen comes?
Why
out.
not turn you into Owen for us on the Ole Miss campus?
That's a good idea.
You know what? Here's one thing I think you could do, and I don't know if you don't do this already.
Lexi's laughing. She's
It's-
like, "Oh my god!"
the man on the street videos is the thing that brings these people down more than anything else.
Uh-huh.
When you go on the street and you interview them and you get them to try to represent their point of view, it's so easy to knock them down because
Mhm.
first of all, they don't even know what the issues really are.
Well, yeah, and you just got to ask them simple questions,
Yeah.
and I'll tell the most part.
And then
about-
it just destroys
Mm,
them. And,
yeah.
and it seems like that maybe that would be the thing that makes people a little bit more conscious about the decisions they're making. If that
Mhm.
got made it, I'm all about TikTok, but I think that if that was more of a issue on TikTok, how stupid these people actually sound on camera, maybe that
Mhm.
would make more conservatives,
Yeah.
right?
Todd has a question from the Facebook line. Okay, Max, here's the question: EV or big block
Oh, here we go.
EV or big block? I don't know.
cars?
He's talking about old classic cars. He wouldn't. Max probably has no idea what a big block is.
He knows what a
Man,
he knows what
Electric vehicle
or
or
a Ford F-150.
coal or batteries.
Yeah, I mean they're just as bad. Both of them are just as bad for the
environment. Yeah.
environment. Yeah, I mean electric. You mine lithium. You know what I mean?
Bingo.
What mines lithium? These big construction vehicles that take diesel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And
So,
with
I
slave
mean,
labor over
either
in the
way,
You
if
nailed it.
If you believe in global warming,
And if they catch on fire, they're the most dangerous thing to ever.
what
be
is that?
around.
Oh, that's another one. Can we ask you about global warming?
I
That
mean,
used to be it used to be called global warming. Then
now it's
then
not
it couldn't
global.
be proved. So now the term is climate change.
Yeah, I think it's just a farce. Just trying to scare you. I mean, just like you said, it was global warming, and now you're gonna move the rules. You're gonna change the rules now. You know what I mean? You're changing the rules,
Yeah.
and now it's global or
Yeah.
whatever you said, climate change.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
Oh,
young
Tabitha's
folks
going to want to adopt you as a
get
son.
it. I want to ask you about the push for alternative proteins.
Oh my God. I don't even know what you're talking
What the
about.
hell
And
is
I don't
that?
know if you guys Lexi's saying yes, because they're really trying to push, and I know this pushes out to the younger folks to eat crickets. Maybe they have vending machines with crickets in it.
Thank you very much, ladies and
Cellular
gentlemen. Don't forget
meat,
to tip your bartenders and
cellular
waitresses.
Fish. And Max, if you're not, Lexi will
I don't know
school
if
you
I'm
on
aware.
this after the show.
What? Oh, yeah. I mean, you do what you want to do, but
The soy burger.
Yeah.
what
yum.
was it? The Impossible Whopper at Burger King? Get
Yeah.
that out of here. I don't want to eat that.
Disgusting. Disgusting.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Eric
Tabitha.
Johnson, before we go too far, I want to remind Eric Johnson.
Just let everybody
Because we're
know
gonna bring this up.
She eats crickets.
I do not eat crickets, but crickets are coming whether we want it or not.
Well, they
next
do
protein.
chocolate covered ants or something like that.
Oh,
Well, that's a delicacy. That's something else.
Bugs and worms.
That's
are
a
the next
Valentine's
protein.
Day present, is what that is.
It's check your labels, folks. Eric, I'm going to be reminding you of this often, so I want
okay.
this to sink in really well.
Here we go.
That Max, who we absolutely love already,
Yeah.
has stated that we are closer to revolution than peace. I'm going to be
Okay.
reminding
Say
you of
that?
that.
Yes.
a lot.
Yeah, he did. He said that.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
he said it.
That's pretty obvious, I think.
It is obvious, not to these guys, but it is very
Well,
obvious.
before we let you go today, we got to talk about this subject because you brought up the names earlier. If you had a choice of Donald Trump or Ron DeSantis or another candidate, because you're going to vote in the next election,
Mm-hmm.
who would you pick and why?
To represent our party, or
Yes,
just
to
to be president?
run for president.
Leader of the free world.
That's a tough question. I mean, I love Trump, and I think we have the best shot with DeSantis
Yes.
just because he's a fresh face.
Yep.
Would I like to see Trump as president again? Absolutely. But I think DeSantis probably has the best shot.
So you would vote for DeSantis
Probably.
because of that, and that's
Probably.
fair. Like I said, there's no right or wrong answers today.
that's probably the best question you could ask.
How do your friends feel? How do you think younger generations?
Oh, they all love Trump. They all love Trump.
They do.
Yeah.
Well, they go and
But they
vote.
probably love DeSantis too.
Well,
They
they-
probably feel like you do.
Well, they
Mhm.
go and vote.
Oh,
what do you
yeah,
think? Is
absolutely.
there, because I see all kinds of voter initiatives, especially for younger people, specifically by Democratic factions.
Mhm.
And I don't know if you see that with get out the vote from a Republican side too, from a younger standpoint.
Yeah, I mean, all my buddies are going out and voting, and they can lose their wallet and still go out there and vote. They don't even need an ID, and I think that's a ridiculous thing they need to change too.
Yes.
I didn't know that. You can vote without an ID.
You didn't know that?
I didn't know that.
No,
This is our life every day.
He's joking. Hey, anything else you want to say before we let you go today? We're having some fun with you and learning as well. So we appreciate you jumping on.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me on. Tune into my podcast, Locker Room Talk. I'm on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify. I talk sports, politics, anything that,
What kind of sports do you talk?
anything. NBA, NFL, MLB.
Are you by
Swimming.
yourself? Do you do all this stuff by yourself?
I did start it with a couple of guys. Some things happened. I ended up taking it over. So I just bring on, it's a guest based podcast. So I just bring on, random people. I'm just trying to learn from other people.
Do you have really good equipment?
Yeah. I mean,
I was like,
I got the same soundboard.
I was gonna say, how does our setup? Are we doing all
Oh
right?
yeah.
I got a
blows mine out
feeling-
of the water. I'll tell you that.
I was like, how are we doing?
Who's in the Super Bowl this year and who wins?
I'm a Steelers fan. Obviously not them though. They're playing like dog crap.
Right.
But 49ers maybe. Chiefs.
Yeah.
Chiefs are always
Chiefs would be
up
hard
there.
to beat. Chiefs would be hard to
that could
beat.
be the Super Bowl, the
Mhm.
49ers
Chiefs
and the
would-
Chiefs. That's for
Mhm.
sure.
Could the old boys pick it up? Could a Tom Brady start to?
Nah, he's done.
Wow.
He's done.
Yeah, I think
He had a good week last week, though, didn't he?
Yeah,
He's
but
done.
that's
He's
it's
done.
not even. It's just, but it's got to be about the team too, though. So
Yeah. And coaching. That
Mhm.
new coach is
so
Suspect.
we go. You want to do stuff with us in the future?
Absolutely.
100%. I don't know
Yeah.
what you're. So how many more? So you got 2 more years of school left, or 2.5, or how does that
One
work?
and a half. 1.5. Hopefully, if I don't take a victory lap.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
He's redshirted.
I'm joking.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, we'll definitely stay in touch. People like you. For all intents and purposes, everybody think you did a fabulous job.
Awesome.
Being
Thank
on
you.
and not being necessarily prepared by. I didn't tell him that
Right. No, you've been
we
fantastic.
we would ask all the questions that we did. That's for sure. But we'll have you back. Hell, I'd love this summer if you're
Awesome.
not busy.
Absolutely.
Get on
yeah.
in here. We'll try to figure out. Apparently, we just got from our marketing team. We're gonna have Owen on next week.
Excellent.
So
Well, I might be in Colorado.
yeah, we'll let you know. We're gonna have Owen on next week from InfoWars, and
Okay.
we'll let you know about that. I'm glad that you brought him
Holy
up. We'll
cow.
let him know that he's been an inspiration to you. That's for sure. And hell, we'll bring in this. We'll be in touch.
Keep fighting the fight, man.
Yeah.
Get the message out there because it seems a little overwhelming right now as far as the youth goes.
Absolutely.
So I keep grounding my son whenever he says weird things. So just keep it in mind. Go to your room. What'd you just say?
Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. No, but we appreciate you joining us today. Tomorrow we're trying to get, or we do have Tabitha who again?
Ben Brown. He is part of SEAL Team 6, former Navy SEAL. Lots to talk to us about.
Yeah, we'll get into that tomorrow. Also, as always, share the show, canceltheshow.com. We continue to grow by the day. We're grateful for everybody jumping in and joining us for the show as well.
Do you want to take an over and under? And if McCarthy gets voted
that's
in today, you want to take an over and under right now?
The Trump threw that little last minute statement in there that could change things.
Matt Gaetz said.
It could
Matt
change
Gaetz.
things.
Here's another breaking news. Matt Gaetz just said, "I'm happy for your opinion, Trump, but I'm still voting the way I'm
like
voting."
what I said.
Yeah.
Good
I
for
don't think
Matt.
he, I don't
Good
think
for
he,
Matt.
I don't think he gets voted in today.
I
Okay.
don't
What do you
think
think?
it'll be today. I don't even think it'll be this week. I think they're going to carry it out as long as they can. And thank God for them, because you know what, Eric? Today it's 20 standing up against the establishment. Next time it'll be 40, then it'll be 60. And then guess what? The world changes.
I think today the 19 who are holding this thing hostage are going to go in on all the news channels. They're going to make their case, and then tomorrow they will vote for McCarthy. What do you think? You think McCarthy's going to get voted in today?
I don't know. I think they should vote now that I'm listening to you guys.
Well, it's just going on and on and on. Democrats are laughing at Republicans because they can't figure out who's going to be the Speaker of the House since Nancy Pelosi, who I know you were a big fan of, is leaving. Nancy's last day was the other day, so Nancy's done. Now the Republicans won the House, so now they get to have the Speaker,
I loved her makeup.
who, by the way, is third in line for the presidency. It is the Speaker of the House.
Right.
That's how important the position
Better
is.
than Kamala.
We didn't even
She
talk-
said,
Cammy, yes.
That was a nice dig.
That's funny. So anyway,
Good job.
you know what we do here? Cancel this. Go to canceltheshow.com. Continue to share the show. Canceltheshow.com. You can also go to canceltheshow.com/donate if you want to donate and jump in and help us out. Also, if you want to know any more information when it comes to sponsorships, we're taking that as well. You can jump in. We appreciate that. So thanks again for joining. Thanks again for your comments, the interaction, second to none, averaging about 800 to, well, actually by the end of the show, over 1,000 comments a day on this. We're grateful for that. For Scotty Gherkin, Eric Johnson, Tabitha Hassan, Vic Faust, and for our guest, Max Kostelac. Thanks for joining us,
Yes,
everybody.
Thank you,
And
guys.
Lexi, all the way from Houston, Texas as well.
We're going to get her on the next time. I
Yeah.
think Lexi's got a lot to say.
Yeah.
Have a great day. We'll see you next time for Cancel This.